The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
There is, quote, growing optimism that the Jets will reach a deal with Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark. We'll give you the latest and talk all about it. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Who's the coach? Who's the GM? Who's the quarterback? At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. According to Josina Anderson, quote, optimism is steadily growing that the visit with Lions DC Aaron Glenn and Commanders assistant GM Lance Newmark is trending positively. Moreover, because Josina, by the way, she can never just write coherent, fluent sentences. It's always got to be in like, a different language to try and interpret. Moreover, the sentiment is that the Jets' jobs are theirs, pending all contractual mesh points getting certifiably agreed upon. I don't know why she can't just say, pending them working out a deal, Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark are going to be hired as the next head coach and general manager. That's where this has been trending all day. The fact that there's no second interview set up for the Jets with any other coach or GM candidate to this point. It feels like it's Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark's job, and it's just a matter of them hammering out a contract. Now, that said, I don't think it's crazy if Aaron Glenn were to take a visit with the Saints, maybe out of respect to that organization. He knows the GM there well, knows the owner. That's where he really grew as a coach. Dan Campbell brought Glenn with him from New Orleans to Detroit. So I could see him maybe still taking the interview there, but New Orleans, with the weather situation down there, has already pushed back their second interviews. I don't know if it ever gets to that point if the Jets and Aaron Glenn could get something done tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if he still interviewed with the Saints, but I think he's choosing the Jets over the Saints. Look, Aaron Glenn's a really good candidate. Is he the guy I would have hired? No. I didn't want a first-time coach with a defensive background. That said, that doesn't mean it can't work. That doesn't mean it's a bad hire. We'll give it a chance. That's it. That's all we could do. I wanted someone with experience. If they were going to do a first-time guy, I wanted someone on offense. Those candidates for the Jets are few and far between to begin with, and clearly they were in love with Aaron Glenn. That was their guy. Aaron Glenn maybe could be the next Sean McDermott. Aaron Glenn could maybe be the next Mike Tomlin. Or he could be Robert Saleh. We don't know. He could be Todd Bowles. The bottom line is this. He's qualified to be a candidate, though. I'm seeing people saying, what did Aaron Glenn do to deserve the job? I think we've gone too far the other way when you say that. You could not like the hire, but acknowledge that Aaron Glenn is considered one of the top candidates during this cycle. He wants to be here, too. The Jets don't exactly have all these candidates lining up, especially on offense, to take their job. This guy, yes, he's defensive-minded, but he wants the job. And there's something to that. His job is to not be a defensive coach. His job is to coach the whole team. Robert Saleh said he would do that. He failed at it. Hopefully Aaron Glenn can do a better job. Hopefully Aaron Glenn can hire a really good staff, because that is ultimately what will determine whether or not Aaron Glenn will have success long-term with the Jets. Can he hire a good coaching staff? I've been encouraged by some of the initial reports on some names that people have said Aaron Glenn is apparently talking to. His defensive coordinator would be Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks is a guy who's been a head coach in this league. He's been an interim coach in this league. His offensive coordinator hire, he's been linked to Nick Caley. Caley is a guy that is an up-and-comer. He could stay with the Rams where he is now. Bill Belichick apparently is interested in one of the names Aaron Glenn's considered, according to Connor Hughes. Scott Turner is another name. And then, I forget which reporter had this one. There was a name with the last name Kubiak Aaron Glenn's considering. Clint Kubiak. That would excite me if he's the OC. But this feels like it's getting done soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens as I'm live right now, or we hear about Newmark being done and then Glenn shortly thereafter, or is it going to be just announced together? But Aaron Glenn is deserving of this opportunity. Where I would push back is those saying, what has Aaron Glenn done to earn this opportunity? That's just not true. Like, Aaron Glenn is qualified. Aaron Glenn's got a real resume. And if the Jets didn't hire him, New Orleans would hire him. So it's not like they're the only team that wants him. I mean, you look at the resume for Glenn, he started as low as you could start and worked his way up. That's what you like. You like that he's a former player. You like that he brings leadership traits that you could easily identify when you just hear him talk. We'll see if it translates. I hope he hires Clint Kubiak as his OC. That would be interesting. And then maybe he could pick the brain of Super Bowl champion coach Gary Kubiak as well. Wouldn't mind that. But Aaron Glenn's qualified. All right. He started out as a personnel scout with the Jets. Then he was a quality control coach, an assistant DB, a DB coach at DC. He's worked his way up. He's earned this opportunity. I hope it works. As a Jet fan, we all want it to work. Do I have my doubts with another first-timer? I do. I didn't think this was a job for first-timers. And I think I'd be more excited about the possibility of Aaron Glenn if the New York Jets hired an experienced GM with him. But Lance Newmark might be good. He might not. I don't know what he did. He was with the Lions for a long time, and they sucked. I'm not putting that on him, but he doesn't then get credit for the Lions' turnaround because how would that be fair when he's not the one making the decisions? He's not Brad Holmes. He's not Ray Agnew. So I don't know what Lance Newmark did or didn't do. We got to be fair. Now, he was the key lieutenant for Adam Peters with the Commanders. So Adam Peters thought highly of him to hire him. You're putting a lot of faith in Aaron Glenn that he's able to identify a GM that he thinks is going to do a good job. I mean, what I do like about Glenn is that he did start in scouting. So maybe he can identify someone he thinks would be good for the job, and that's clearly, in his mind, Newmark. Now, I don't know. I wouldn't have hired Lance Newmark. If I'm hiring Lance Newmark, I'd want a Thomas Dimitroff-like figure above him or Chris Spielman above him. But there's been no indication, despite my hope that someone else would be added to this front office. That's why the 33rd team felt like they needed to interview 15 general manager candidates. There's been no indication that anyone besides Newmark is joining Aaron Glenn. So, I don't know. Could be awesome. Could suck. I wanted more sure things. Nothing in life is a guarantee. Nothing's a sure thing. They could have hired Vrabel, and it wouldn't be a guarantee. But your odds are significantly better when you hire people for the jobs you're hiring them to do. Aaron Glenn's never been a head coach. Lance Newmark's never been a GM. I hope it works. I'm going to sit here and say it's going to definitely work. It's going to be awesome. Like, no. The Jets have been one of the biggest jokes in all of sports. They have the longest playoff drought in sports. They haven't won more than 7 games in a single season in a decade. I'm not going to sit here and go, whoa, this is great. This is awesome. When I don't believe it. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic that it could work. But these are jobs that I didn't think were jobs for first-timers. And we got a first-time coach, first-time GM coming in. And that scares me. That scares me. I'll play you guys a clip from Aaron Glenn. He was a guest on the Pivot podcast earlier this season. Here's Aaron Glenn explaining how he got into coaching.
Why jump right back into this?
Man, I'm gonna tell you guys that I'm gonna try to make this a quick story. So, and a lot of people don't even know this about me. Retired in 2008. Man, I owned 8 restaurants from 2008 to 2011. All right, you guys right there called Frenchies in Houston. Yeah, I actually owned 8 of them at one point. And they were doing well. Man, I actually had one in the Texan Stadium. All right, I had one right across the street, right from the Texas. So the players used to always come over and eat. Man, it was like a club on Sundays. All right, it was good and it was doing well. So man, I'm at home. It's probably 2010. I'm at home and I'm watching SportsCenter or something like that. And man, I am cursing the TV out. I'm watching somebody play and I'm just cursing the TV out. They should have done this. They should have done that. All right, and my wife's in there and she was like, AG. I'm like, what? She said, go coach.
Right.
I'm like, wow. What do you mean? She said, listen, it's cool you doing your restaurant thing, right? And you like that, but you love ball. You love ball. And man, when I tell you a weight was off my shoulders after that, because I was like most guys, you know, coming out, man, I have to be this big time businessman. I have to sit behind a desk wearing a suit and tie. And man, that wasn't me. You know, and I'm doing something that I liked, but I didn't love. Right. And I want to make sure if I do something, man, my heart got to be in it. And once she told me that, I jumped right in it, man. And at that point, and this is a saying I always say, I didn't stick my toe in the water to see if it was cold. I jumped right on in there. Right. Right, and I scouted, in-house scout with the Jets a couple of years, then I went on the road. I was driving for hours, right, college scouting. Then I went right to being an assistant DB coach. I did my QC thing, because I want to make sure I didn't miss one step. I want to start from the bottom. I told everybody I was there, don't treat me any different than anybody else, right? Because I want to understand everything there is about the scouting process. I want to know everything about being a QC. I want to know everything about being an assistant coach, all right, to a lead DB coach, to a defense coordinator I am right now, right? And I'm hoping to be a head coach at some point. So I didn't want to miss one step, so you can't tell me that I haven't seen it, just like with a player.
He's qualified. Anyone disputing Aaron Glenn's resume, you're not being fair. You're not being fair. He's deserving of the opportunity. I just wish there was a GM coming with him with experience. And I hope he hires a hell of a staff, because that's going to determine his success or failure as this team's coach. Because I have major concerns. If not this year, then next year, this team is likely drafting a quarterback in the first round. Aaron Glenn is now going to oversee that quarterback. Robert Saleh oversaw Zach Wilson. Todd Bowles oversaw Sam Darnold. Rex Ryan oversaw Mark Sanchez and Geno Smith. These are all defensive guys that failed to really either get the offensive coordinator right or just weren't good enough coaches to coach that side of the ball in general. Aaron Glenn says he's going to coach the whole team. He has to, and he's got to hire the right offensive staff.
I mean, Bill Belichick is a shining example of a defensive coach who won Super Bowls, but typically it's offensive coordinators. They come from the offense who become Super Bowl head-winning coaches.
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be? Is there?
Well, I don't know if that's truly accurate. I can just go off the top of my head with Bill Carr, Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick. That's won a ton of Super Bowls as a defensive coach. And here's the one thing that I would say about myself. I'm a coach. I just happen to be on defense. I understand the offense just as well as a number of people. So if you're going to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You're not going to hire a defensive coach. I'm going to talk to the offense just as much as I'm going to talk to the defense.
All right. You better do it. And for what it's worth, I hope Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback next year. I do. I don't know how you're selling me on being excited about next season if it's Tyrod Taylor with Aaron Glenn as the quarterback coach combo. On a side note, I'll save my Rodgers thoughts and all that for when this deal is official. We hear Aaron Glenn actually be asked about Rodgers, all that. But I want Aaron and Aaron if we're doing this for at least a year. For at least a year. That's my initial thought on that. But we'll see what Aaron Glenn does for his staff. Getting the offensive line coach, I think, is incredibly important as well. But he's deserving of the job, and Aaron Glenn wanted this job. You got to respect that. You got to respect the fact that he's still loyal to this organization, that this was his number one choice, that he told people for the last couple of years the Jet job was his dream job. Imagine saying that about the Jets. And to be fair to Aaron Glenn, this worked for the Texans. DeMeco Ryans' dream job was Houston because that's where he met his wife. And he obviously was drafted by the Texans. And he still had his home in Houston. He loved Houston, wanted to be back. Same thing with Glenn. And Glenn has worked for Woody before when he was a scout. And when Woody bought the team, Aaron Glenn was still on the Jets for the first 2 years Woody owned the team. So obviously ownership trusts Aaron Glenn, and Aaron Glenn's comfortable with the Johnson family, which is fine. So that's important. So you got to like that about Glenn. There's things to certainly like about him. It just comes down to the fact we're rolling the dice with first-timers. You're paying these guys millions of dollars, Woody, and they have never been in the jobs you're hiring them to do. It could work. It could suck. I don't know. I think you'd have a higher chance of success if you hired people that have done the job before. If you hired Mike McCarthy, who they haven't even interviewed. Raise your floor immediately. If you hired Brian Flores, that was the guy of the guys they talked to. If they couldn't get Rabel, which once New England opened up, you knew that was done. I wanted Flores. But Aaron Glenn might be awesome. I hope he is. He's got to get these coaching hires right, though. Because this team's going to need a quarterback. If not this year, the next year. And Aaron Glenn's going to be in charge of that quarterback's development. But what I like about Aaron Glenn is the leadership. I think he will hold guys accountable. I don't think he's afraid of confrontation. I don't think Aaron Glenn's going to try and be buddy-buddy with everyone like Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich. So I don't think Glenn is Saleh, but he could be. Robert Saleh was supposed to be this fiery guy too, and then he comes to the Jets and he's stoic and just sitting there and was not what we thought we were getting. I hope it works. I hope it works. I can't take losing anymore. I can't do it. I cannot do it anymore. They need to get this right. Have to. Hit the like button. If you're one of the 832 people in here right now, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Yesterday, we hit 41,000 subscribers. Thank you to the Asmaniacs for making us the most subscribed to YouTube channel for any Jet content. You guys are awesome, and we'll be here every day talking all things Jets throughout the offseason as we have been now for 3+ years and counting. I also want to share an exciting announcement from the first show today. If you missed it, we're going back to the Super Bowl, baby. I will be live from Radio Row in New Orleans for a full week during the week leading up to the Super Bowl. We will have a bunch of huge guests that will be joining us all throughout that week, including, I've already booked one current New York Jet player. So stay tuned for that. Last year, we had C.J. Mosley on. We had Santonio Holmes on. We had a bunch of great guests on, and we'll continue that again this year, live from Radio Row in New Orleans during the week of the Super Bowl. Sponsorship packages are available. So if your business or brand wants incredible exposure that week, shoot me an email, asmanjake@gmail.com, and I'll connect you with my marketing reps for all our sponsorship packages that we have for that. All right, comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Quick reminder, we're doing another raffle. Grand prize, signed Garrett Wilson jersey. Second place prize, signed Breece Hall jersey card. Third place prize, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn autograph card. Those are the top 3 prizes. If you want in, $20 super chat gets you 5 raffle entries. And if you gift any memberships, for every membership you gift, that's how many raffle tickets you get. Hector starts us off. Jake, how good is Kubiak? Don't know about the guy. Of the names that have been mentioned for the Jets OC under Glenn, he, to me, is the best one. How good is he? I don't know. I mean, he's had success in the league, though. That should matter. And his last name is Kubiak. So it's in his blood. Rob, super chat. Can we stop drafting first-round quarterbacks? No. Just because it hasn't worked doesn't mean that you don't do it. You don't do it this year. I'm not saying the Jets should take someone at 7 because I don't think that quarterback exists that's worthy of a top 7 pick. But 2026, they need to draft a quarterback. Look at the teams left in the NFL right now. Other than Jalen Hurts, they're all first-round picks. Every quarterback that played this past weekend was a first-round pick besides Jalen Hurts. He was a second-rounder. Where are you finding a quarterback? You're in the AFC, Rob. You want to be able to try and compete with Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert and all these guys, they're first-round guys. You have to draft the quarterback. Have to. And now Aaron Glenn's going to be overseeing the development of that guy. And you hope it works. Ryad checks in. Been a Jet optimist my whole life, but this season plus higher has left me hopeless. Unproven defensive guy in offensive league. So much for the 33rd team. Yeah, I mean, if it ends up being Aaron Glenn and his choice of a GM candidate, I mean, no offense. I could have done that too. I could have told you Aaron Glenn's one of the top candidates. Jay Taylor writes in, last time we hired an experienced coach was Gase, and no experience it was Saleh. No matter the hire, they have an equal chance of failing. Yeah, but here's the pushback on that. Gase never should have been hired. They should have hired Mike McCarthy in 2019. They should have hired anyone but Adam Gase in 2019. That's the thing. Oh, because they hired Gase, it means they shouldn't try to hire someone with previous experience? No. You shouldn't have hired Gase in the first place. You know, I'll say this. I rather Aaron Glenn than Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith would have been Adam Gase in 2025. But that's not what we're talking about here. Fiore checks in with a super chat. Fix the D-line and kicker. Rodgers on a pay cut with Adams. Draft a quarterback in round 2/3 to learn under Rodgers. Should be able to compete for a playoff spot and change the losing culture. If not, Glenn job much harder. Yeah. That's what I would do. Wild Wave. Build the team the right way for stable success and retain your young talent. Soon as Glenn is hired, Rodgers should see the door and not be the quarterback. Wild Wave, this is up there with one of the dumber things I've ever seen. Farewell.
Just shut the fuck up. I did not ask for the dumb opinion that came out of your ass, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, let's not just get rid of Aaron Rodgers right away. Let's actually, I don't know, have him talk to Aaron Glenn and vice versa and see what's that like? Do you want to just suck next year, Wild Wave? What's your plan at quarterback? Let's just move on from Rodgers and Tyrod Taylor for 4 games before he gets hurt? Great plan. Let's just go get any quarterback, right? Let's not bring in, let's just forget Aaron Rodgers who 28 touchdowns this year. Do people remember how fucking bad it was at quarterback before this guy? On the right-hand side are touchdowns thrown by Jet quarterbacks since 2020. Oh, Sam Darnold. Look at his numbers there. Hold on. You guys can't see it. Let me put it in a little box there for you. So I'm not saying Rodgers definitely has to come back. That's not what I'm saying. But the idea that they should just get rid of him now, no. Have a conversation with Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark. Like, the people add up Zach Wilson's career touchdowns thrown, and it's 23. And Rodgers threw 5 more in 1 year than that. Just get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Morons. Phil writes in, everything you're saying could apply to Flores. Can he develop a quarterback? We don't know. Yeah, but here's the difference with Flores, Phil. The guy won games with below average quarterback play. Brian Flores' last 2 years in the NFL were 10-6 and 9-7. You don't think he's learned from that experience now under Tomlin for a year and the last 2 with Kevin O'Connell? Bang. Jake, you want AR back? Who could ruin our top 5? I'm not talking about tanking. Bang. Thanks for the money. Goodbye.
I'd rather be the Jake Asman heel than the Robert Saleh truther any day of the week. But it's weird because I don't see myself as a heel. I think I'm a realist.
I don't want to hear none of that shit. You do not root for no damn New England to win shit.
You're worried about our top 5 pick in 2026. You're such an idiot, Bang. I can't. I don't even want your super chat money. It's blood money, all right? Send me your Venmo. I'm sending it back right now. You disgust me. Bang Mateo. Disgust me. Oh, my God. Talking about tanking. Look at the teams that are left. How did they get their quarterbacks? You don't only have to be picking in the top 3 or top 5 to get a franchise quarterback. The Ravens got Lamar Jackson with the last pick of the first round. The Bills made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor and then traded up for Josh Allen that offseason. Patrick Mahomes was a trade-up and joined a playoff team. Jalen Hurts, second-round pick. Like, the idea that you have to just tank and that's the only way to find your quarterback is such nonsense. I stand. We'll have to wait till Ryan Reynolds buys the Jets to see a good season. I'm broken. Why Ryan Reynolds? Is he a Jet fan? Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. If you super chat and it's moronic, I don't want it. All right. Donate it to charity. Donate it to the wildfire fund. All right. Give it to the Red Cross. I don't want it. If you're trying to sell me on tanking next year, I don't want to hear it. All right. I don't have patience for it. And neither should any Jet fan. I want to win games. All right. Aaron Glenn doesn't just get this grace period. No, win games. There's talent on this team. All right. Robert Saleh won 4 games with a way worse roster his first year. This team won 5 this year. This team better win 8 or 9 games next year. Be playing meaningful games at the end of the season for a chance to go to the playoffs. Enough. It's only been 14 years without the playoffs. You're going to talk about tanking. JV, rewatch 09 and 10 AFC Finals and compare AR a must. Yeah, like I'm not saying Rodgers has to be here at all costs. I've made it very clear he needs to take a pay cut and be willing to actually learn a real offense. The Kubiak would be fun because I know what scheme that is. That'd be like a modern scheme. But assuming Aaron was telling the truth with everything he said, that he'd be open to doing all that, and him and Aaron Glenn vibe, which I could see them getting along really well, why wouldn't you at least be open-minded to that? Where are you finding a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers for 1 year? Once again, people, remember what life was like before you just rule out Aaron Rodgers completely. I mean, please. You got people talking about tanking because that worked out so great with Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold. Enough. Also, you don't have Aaron Rodgers. Guess what? You don't have Devontae Adams either. More of your calls, or I guess your calls right now. Nick T's first up today. Hello, Nick.
What's up, Jake? How you doing?
I'm good, Nick.
So let's start. So I was on the train. I agree with you to some extent to like have any experienced head coach, but I will say this: whether it's McCarthy, years back, a couple of years ago, I called the show Sean Payton, right? No matter who it is, whether they've won a Super Bowl or not, at least to my knowledge, and you're better than I am at this, I can't name a single head coach aside from Bill Belichick, and let's not mention his name as much more than we need to, that has left a job and been a previous head coach who has won a Super Bowl in another city. And that's why I have leaned myself towards the Aaron Glenn. Like, I love Aaron Glenn. I mean, you know me, like 98 Jets were my team. So Aaron Glenn, to me, he checks all the boxes. And that's why, like, yes, I agree with you. Like, an experienced head coach makes more sense to change the culture. However, the end result that we're looking for is still a Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, only one head coach has left another job where they've been a head coach and won a Super Bowl anywhere else. So facts are facts, and that's kind of my thinking beyond this. And I get what you're saying about an experienced GM. I agree with you. Like, Dimitroff probably would have been a better choice. But at the end of the day, the GM and the coach have to be lockstep. And if these two are in the same, mental mindset, I'm fine with it because that's what you need. And all the stars, in my opinion, are aligned for everything to work out in our favor. Granted, it's not exactly what we want, but facts are facts. And look at the history.
But your fact doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? You're saying a head coach has never been up with a second team and won a Super Bowl before?
Besides Bill Belichick, name another head coach who's left.
Gary Kubiak? Dick Vermeil?
Okay, so there's 2 others, right?
Andy
but
Reid?
History. Okay, so again, you're better. That's why I'm confirming you on this, right? So there's 2 head coaches in how many years? 50 plus years?
Nick, I don't give a flying F about winning a Super Bowl right now as a Jet fan.
Yeah, you should, Jake.
No,
that's
Nick,
the goal. That's the goal.
You know what I care about, Nick? Getting out of hell. The Jets are in hell right now. For you to even try and argue they should hire a first-timer, because statistically, more first-timers win Super Bowls than guys who have been head coaches before.
The goal is to win a Super Bowl, Jake,
asinine.
not to be
Also,
competitive.
here's another one. Pete Carroll, John Gruden. I mean,
the goal is to be competitive
Mike
and win
Shanahan?
a Super Bowl. Yeah, okay, so you've named 5, right?
I've
5.
named a lot more than 5. Bye. I'm not doing this, Nick. Oh, my God. What is in the water today? On Twitter, someone called me a racist, and we got Nick T spouting nonsense. Bang Mateo sending blood money. I'm not doing this. Oh, my God. Stop. I'm not worried about winning a Super Bowl right now. By the way, Tony Dungy, another one. Oh, my God. I'm not worried about a Super Bowl. I want to build a culture. I want to get out of hell. I want to win football games. And if they can't get over the top with whoever they hired, if it was Flores or McCarthy, I'll deal with it. Bruce Arians, thank you, chat. Shams, another one. There's a bunch of guys who, with their second opportunity as a head coach, they ended up winning. So let's just hire a first-timer because in the history of the NFL, first-timers win more? Yeah, because the odds are in your favor. Oh, you just named 5. I literally named like 10, including some guys out there that the Jets could interview and they didn't. So I'm not worried about winning a Super Bowl, Nick. Yeah, that's the goal eventually, but this team hasn't won a division in 20 years. More than 20. Haven't won more than 7 games in a single year. In a decade. You want to talk about the Super Bowl? How about making the playoffs and ending the longest playoff drought in sports? Not going 4-13 next year and every good player in this team wanting out. And having to start over. Like, come on, man. No, like, I understand the goal is to obviously win a Super Bowl, but like, you think the Kansas City Chiefs regret hiring Andy Reid the second he was available? It's just, it's frustrating, man. Aaron Glenn's a qualified candidate. I'm just pissed off they didn't talk to McCarthy, Gruden, Carroll. Brian Flores didn't get more serious consideration. And it's just, that's what annoys me. I don't want this to be, I'm anti-Aaron Glenn. I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn. I hope he's awesome. Let's see. Jay Taylor, 4 OCs, 2 DCs in 3 years. Flores isn't perfect. Who said he's perfect? Despite some of the issues with his OCs, he won games. He won games. I don't know what Aaron Glenn is. You think Aaron Glenn in his first 3 years is going to have a 10-win season? And then a 9-win season? Do we think so? Because this franchise hasn't won more than 7 games in any year since 2015. Kashmir writes in, Rodgers wasn't as bad as people tried to make it seem. He had a few bad games, but he put us a lot of times in position to win. Don't tell that to the Aaron Rodgers haters. He's got to be blamed for everything. The Jets only won 5 games because Rodgers, not because of everything else that went wrong. He's not what he was. He's still their best option at quarterback. Not throwing away next year. Big fella, Jake, would you be good with Fields and Godwin if Rodgers and Adams don't come back? I'd be fine with it, I guess. I don't know if I want to pay Godwin a ton of money coming off the injuries he's dealt with. Kyle writes in, as a season ticket holder, Jet fans, tanking isn't an option. We have talent on this team. We'll lose if we keep losing. AR is the right bridge for this team. I tend to agree. Harlan is up next. Hello, Harlan.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Harlan?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I just wanted to say, when it comes to Glenn, I think a lot of people are, trashing the fact that he is a defensive-minded coach, a lot like Robert Saleh, and people are saying this is Saleh 2.0. But I honestly think with him, this is a little different. Yes, we're doing the same thing behind hiring a defensive-minded coach, but like you said, we're trying to build a culture. And I think that Glenn, based on the interviews I've seen with him and the Hard Knocks clips and everything, I think he can build a culture. I personally don't care if he can call plays on the defense or offense or anything. I want to see, like you said, who he brings in as his coordinators. I think that makes the whole difference right there. But I think he can build a good culture.
Harlan, for your lips to God's ears. I hope he does.
I hope so too. I mean, we'll see. I will say, in terms of the GM hire, I'm not as big on that. I get trying to pair them together, but at the same time, I don't know if it's going to work with a first-time GM. Would have liked to see the experienced GM. I can't remember his name, but the former GM from Atlanta there, I thought he would have been a good pick for this job. And the guy from the Chiefs as well, whose name I'm also forgetting, who wasn't a GM, but he had a very strong background. You know, I'd be very worried with Newmark, mostly on the fact that he was with an organization for years in the Lions, but it was the Lions, and he was there for most of their bad years and somehow managed to survive in the organization, but then left 2 years ago from the Lions when they were starting to get good. So how much did he really pick up from the Lions in that time?
I don't know. And obviously, Aaron Glenn trusts him, which matters. Adam Peters hired Newmark, which, you know, Adam Peters is thought to be a really good GM. So that does speak volumes, but I don't know. I didn't want two first timers in these jobs. If you're going to hire Glenn, if Dimitrov was the GM, for example, I'd be way more optimistic than I am, because at least there's someone there that knows what they're doing in that role who could help Aaron Glenn, right? Like Dimitrov hired two coaches that made the playoffs. He hired Dan Quinn, who should have won a Super Bowl. Now he's having success with the commies. Like, I would like the GM to be experienced, or hire a director of football ops above Newmark who's never been a GM before. Like, that'd be awesome. That hasn't been reported that they're going to do that, though. So, you know, hopefully they got it right. That's the only thing. We didn't know Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell were good until they got it. They did their thing and turned it around. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll wait and see, I guess. But I mean, if they hire him, I will say this: Ben Johnson said that he had never seen a candidate more prepared to be a head coach than Glenn. And you know, we're already seeing Ben Johnson possibly getting Darren Rizzi from the Saints. You know, and he looks like he's put together a really good staff. So I think Ben Johnson.
It was Dennis Allen. Hopefully the Jets get Darren Rizzi, New Jersey native, as their special teams coordinator and assistant head coach on Glenn's staff.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I think they're looking at Rizzi too. They're looking at Rizzi and Dennis Allen.
They might be.
So, but either way, like, I mean, if Ben Johnson's putting together a staff like that and he's basically talking about Glenn, like Glenn's more prepared than him, then maybe Glenn does have some tricks up his sleeve. And I think the problem is too, like, we're just not going to know any of this until they hire him, until they start making phone calls.
I think you're right, Harlan. Now, have you called before? Excellent call.
No, it's the first time calling.
Welcome aboard, Harlan. Next time you call, you got to play the guitar, all right?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Good call, Harlan. Appreciate it. All right. Some super chats here, but we got to take care of some absolute horse manure that I'm seeing in the chat. Comment here from Bobby Beasley. Former players never convert well to head coach. We need Gruden. This is just a waste of time. That's right. Former players never convert well to be a head coach, other than, Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell. Yep, that's what I thought. Bomb.
I am Jesus Christ, his son. You are my chosen disciples. Put on your war faces, gentlemen. Let's go and make the greatest war movie ever. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of morons out there today, folks. Be careful. All right. I'm gonna start beating people with my stupid stick with some of these takes that are coming in. NYJ with a super chat. Jet fans don't dislike Glenn. We're just scared about the losing going to continue because we've taken this road before. I get it. I'm not anyone who's not optimistic about this doesn't mean they're a hater. They're a realist. I get it. I'm not gonna tell anyone to be. I'm not gonna sit there and be optimistic if I don't believe it. Cashmere Black. I don't know if a team will hire Flores after he ratted out the owner of the Dolphins, offering him extra money to tank. these NFL owners seem to stay on code. Brian Flores immediately had the Steelers hire him and then the Vikings hire him. I don't believe that to be true. Mimosa's in our raffle for 5 with this $20 super chat. Thank you, Mimosa. Jake, I'm with you. We need to walk before we become Olympic sprinters. I'm hoping we get it right, but new isn't always the best. I want Aaron and Tay back 100%. I agree. Fiore, Connor Hughes breaking deal is done. Is this true? Let's see. Jets have started calling coaching and general manager candidates to inform them they're going in another direction. Those sources are under belief Aaron Glenn and Lance Newmark will be named team's next head coach and GM. Things are not 100%. I mean, folks, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know, let's connect the dots. JV, give AR/DA a chance with a strong OC. It can work. I agree. If you're one of the 1,000 people in here right now, click that like button and subscribe to the channel, more importantly. Reminder, this show's available on podcast form. After we're done live, I upload it to Apple and Spotify so you can take the show on the go. Super chat from V-Man. Mike Ditka and Tony Dungy, 2 other ex-players, turn excellent head coaches. The idea that ex-players can't be head coaches is absurd. Yeah, it was an asinine take. By the way, one of the more successful Jet head coaches ever was Herm Edwards, who made the playoffs 3 times. He's a former player. So was Todd Bowles, who wasn't a great Jet coach, but he's the last coach to actually have a winning season. He played in the NFL. More calls right now. Rohith is up next. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. What's up, Rohith?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to agree with mostly everything you said. I think Joe Brady would have been a good candidate for us. Not a huge fan of Glenn. I'm hoping it works just like you. I think the bigger issue with us is the GM hire. I think Lance Newmark, being in a losing organization for nearly all his career, like 26 years, and now finally getting that Washington job last year, I would have preferred a candidate like Hallaby, who was in the Eagles organization, like known as a forward-thinking, analytical guy, Ivy League background, and in an organization where if they've experienced winning, or even Sullivan from the Packers. But I think Newmark's probably the bigger question mark, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, Newmark's a major question mark. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Glenn's vouching for him, and they want Glenn. My other issue with it, too, I like Aaron Glenn. What has Aaron Glenn done where he gets to call the shots on who his GM is? Like,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, he's a good coaching candidate, but like he's calling the shots on the GM he wants to work with. That to me, like, I'd interview more candidates besides Lance Newmark. Like, why do we need someone that Aaron Glenn knows? Hire the best personnel guy, and if that guy likes Aaron Glenn, then you make it happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, why do we need to settle for Lance Newmark at this point? Get Glenn on board, because that's clearly their guy, and then interview more people before we just make Newmark the GM. That's what I would do too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think Aaron Glenn has proven anything to have that sort of decision-making power. I think if we wanted to hire Glenn, we should at least look outside the box and maybe bring in a couple candidates for second-round interviews instead of just having one candidate. So, yeah, I mean, I'm on board with you. I think if we were going to hire the 33rd team and do all this extensive search and bring in 15 to 20 candidates, we should have at least brought in a couple more for second round instead of just progressing into this like so spontaneously.
I agree. Rohith, great call, man. Call again.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You got it. Appreciate that. Craig in Australia, the first person to make it rain memberships for the people. Sound the alarm. We're going to have to ship to Australia if Craig wins our Garrett Wilson raffle or the Brees card or the Jet head coach signed autograph Aaron Glenn card. 5 people just got memberships from Craig. Howie from Jet HQ, Salem, NC Vince, Canucks Jets, all receiving channel memberships, and Carl Johnson. More of your calls coming up. Super chat from Bo. Accept it or not, it appears this is happening. Let's focus on the positive. Absolutely could be the best move we made in 50 years. Glass half full. I would say my glass is even. Like there's, I'm not gonna say it can't work. I'm also not gonna sit here and feel very confident that it will work. I mean, hopefully Aaron Glenn's different than Robert Saleh, Todd Bowles, Herm, Rex, all these other defensive-minded coaches they hired that couldn't get quarterback right long term. Mike D's nuts. Need that Garrett Wilson jersey. Well, Mike, you know what to do. Mimosa knows what to do. 10-spot channel memberships. Let's go. Bang! Here we go. 10 entries for Mimosa.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
John Woo, Idaho Jets. Mongo Horse Punch. James Fustel, Mello Washington, Daniel Yanez, Gregor Smith, NY Cursor, Joe the Jet, all receiving channel memberships from Mimosa. Thank you very much, Mimosa. We'll get you down for another 10. Jay Cruz, this is going to be a colossal mistake. I hope not. I hope not. Doug, who just woke up on his bed, is next. Hello, Doug. Jeez, you really did just wake up.
No, I need a haircut badly. That's what it is. I need one badly. So hoping to get one in the next couple of days. My hair gets super Jew-fro-y. So I need a haircut.
You look good, Doug. I take it all back.
No,
very handsome.
It's okay. I was with you for most of the time on Flores, but at the end of the day, none of us know how good of a bad head coach Glenn is going to be until he starts. A lot of people thought Campbell was a disaster. Look what he's turned out to be. So, there's no way of knowing. It's fair to have your doubts, but the criticism is getting way too crazy online. People are like, they're overreacting to the defense the other day, which was riddled by injuries. They're like, oh, this guy can't even stop the Commanders at all. Look at how bad the defense played. And it's like, this guy is terrible. This guy's terrible. And the fans are saying oh, if we hire Glenn, I'm going to root for us to lose. Go get 3 wins and get a quarter. What the fuck? Why even be a fan of this team if you're going to root for us to lose? Go kick rocks. What's the point?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Jet fan rooting for them to lose, you're not a Jet fan. You're
No.
Alan, who I already sent to the hole before the show started because he was annoying. You're not a Jet fan, so
No.
just root for it to work. I rooted for Adam Gase. It didn't work, but I still rooted for him.
You said it. We obviously, yeah, I would love to win a Super Bowl next year, but that's not the goal. The goal is to be relevant again. The Jets have been a disaster for a decade plus. They haven't won 10 games in a decade. When you said that today, I was like, shit, it's been, sorry for the language. Shit, it's been 2015 the last time we had 10 wins. I didn't realize it's 2025. It has literally been 10 years since the last time we had a 10-win season. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I hate being the joke of the NFL. I'm tired of it. Look what the Commanders did. The Commanders, I mean, partly because Dan Snyder's gone. Dan Snyder's gone to become this, but they were the joke of the NFL. They get the quarterback right. They get the coach right. Look what can happen. If you get the coach right, I've been 50-50 on Rodgers. Right now, I guess there is no better option, but I don't think he was the main problem this year. I agree with that. So it's bring him back, make the few tweaks. Hopefully you're in a playoff hunt. I can't deal with another dog shit season of nothingness, watching this game and watching the teams and just uncompetitive. I can't go through another hold down, tear down, rebuild again. I just can't do it. It's hard. I want success. There has to be a goal at the end of this. It can't just be, oh, we're going to get the quarterback and we don't seem to get it right. I know eventually we'll get it right, but we just keep seeming to get the wrong guy at quarterback. So eventually all this stuff has to work. It's all just very frustrating to say the least.
Get it right. Yeah, the before you even talk about Rodgers, the next thing that Aaron Glenn's going to have to do, he's going to have to hire a really good offensive staff. I'm not worried about the defense. The defense will be fine. Steve Wilkes was connected to the DC job. Fine. Hire Steve Wilkes. That's a good hire. Who's the OC? Who's the O-line coach? That's what they got to figure out. Ladies and gentlemen, it was only a matter of time. Mike D's nuts is dropping his nuts on 20 lucky Asmaniacs. And you might be saying, what? That doesn't make any sense. That sounds inappropriate. And my response to that is, you're damn right it is.
Bang! Thank you, Mike D's Nuts, for another gifted membership.
D's nuts explosion.
D's nuts.
Is this Mike D's nuts?
Oh, yes, it is. 20 memberships. It's officially raining. I need to get out my umbrella. Stand by. Here we go. Here we go. The first 20 spot of the Aaron Glenn Jets era. Let's see. We have 20 names from Mike. 20 raffle tickets with Mike D's Nuts name on it. P-Biz, Andrew Fialco, Jose Sanchez, Pastor Carlos Reyes, Keith Parcells, 615 Jet Fan, BB, Braden NZL, Juno Rudy, J-Rod, Iowa Jet Fan, Jared B, Adriano, Fly By Night, War Dog, Jose Constantino, Eli Yakinolis, Joe Rano. I think that's 20. Mike D's Nuts, thank you for your service, my friend. We will get you down in the raffle. More calls right now. We have some great callers on the line, including Nick Shine. Hello, Nick.
What's up, sir? How are you?
I've been better. What's going on?
I wanted to talk to you about that. I feel like you're not happy with this.
I'm not.
Do you think that Glenn working with Newmark in Detroit for all those years and Woody Johnson being an absolute people pleaser, that the first interview, Glenn's like, if I get the job, this is who I'd like to work with. And we know Woody's not a cutthroat decision maker when it comes to football. He wants to please everybody. He wants to appease everyone. He wants to try to silence the critics by being soft and tippy toe. Do you think that this was just Glenn saying, this is what I want, and Woody just saying, all right, the fans will like this hire. He's a former Jet. Let's just do whatever he wants to get him?
I think the fact that he's a former Jet and a lot of fans will buy in to that is part of it. But what has Aaron Glenn done that he gets to pick his own GM? He's not Mike Vrabel. I'd let Vrabel do that. Why am I letting Aaron Glenn pick a first-time GM that we have no idea if he's any good?
Because
I'm supposed to be excited about that?
No, I'm not saying you to be excited about it. I'm just thinking from the organization side that the Johnsons would do it to appease him and to get the former Jet in after losing Vrabel. Yeah, remember, there's a lot of tickets available that aren't sold out. They're not sold out game to game. They're not sold out on season tickets. They're trying to find some sort of
so
spark.
hiring Aaron Glenn will get season ticket holders to buy tickets?
In the Johnson's mind, I think so. Not in reality.
Maybe.
In the Johnson's mind. He thinks
I don't know. I don't think that played a part in the decision here. I think they think Glenn's the best guy for the job, which is fine. I just think there's a huge risk in hiring another first-time coach with no experience.
I agree with that. I do like what we've heard about Glenn in terms of he said himself, I'm not just a defensive coach. I'm not just going to worry about one side of the ball. I'm going to coach the entire team. You know, he's saying all the right things. He's a former defensive player, an all-pro cornerback.
Salah said all that too.
I know he did.
All that.
I know. I'm not, Jake. I'm not coming here to push the Glenn is going to be successful agenda.
Yeah, but you were like, you're not happy with this. I'm telling you why. I'm very lukewarm to this. I didn't want a first-time coach, and if they were going to do a first-time coach, I wanted an offensive coach. Like, give me McCown, give me Brady. They didn't do that. Instead, they hired the same type of coach that they've hired basically my entire life, minus Adam Gase, who never should have got the job in the first place.
Agreed. I'm not pushing the Glenn agenda. I'm just having a little discourse with you, my friend.
It sounds like you're a Glenn guy.
Glenn was third on my list behind McCown and Brady. I wanted an offensive guy. I thought it was great to be a year too soon on McCown and Brady, then watch McDaniels get fired in Miami and one of them go there next year. That was my agenda. Was I'd rather be a year early with them than another defensive guy and miss out on the next.
I agree.
Potentially offensive
this team's taking a quarterback either this year or next year, and now Aaron Glenn is going to be overseeing that. And I don't have a whole lot of faith in that working out.
New GM, new head coach is taking a quarterback. For those out there, who wanted Jordan Travis to get some play, got to remember, GMs and coaches are very particular. They want to find their guy. Travis never touched the field. They have no ties to him. I think you got to let that go if you are one of the fans like Ricky New York, who's big on Jordan Travis. He's probably not going to get an opportunity here, in my opinion. They're going to bring in one of their guys.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but definitely by 2026, they're going to draft someone high If not, if not even this year, they could trade back into round 1 this year. They could do it in the second round this year. I definitely could see that.
I know you're not okay with it, but I'm okay with finish the offensive line this year, rebuild the defensive line back, and then if you have to go all in for a quarterback in 26, when you have Aller, Manning, the kid from Nussenheimer, the kid from LSU, I forget his name. How to say his name. Yes. You got multiple quarterbacks that are projected to be up there. And if you have the rest of your roster built and you build the D-line back and you replenish the secondary, I'm okay with going all in 2026. But get all of your ducks in a row now. Get another wide receiver or two, right? And then go all in 26. Get the quarterback and march forward. So I know you're very big on we got to win this year. We got to win, but I don't think it's there. Would I love to be a Washington?
Nick, I'm not. When I say win, that was in response to people talking about tanking. You had morons like Bang Mateo, Super Chat saying you can't bring Rodgers back because he'll win too many games. We won't have a top 5 pick. Like, are you nuts? Tanking doesn't work. Stop. It does not work. How'd it work for the Giants? How's that going? I mean, like
the Jets would win 11 games in a tank season. We'd win 11 games in a tank.
Yeah, there's no way.
That's what we need to do. We all need to say it's a 4-win team, and they're going to the moon, baby.
Win as many games as possible, man. Like, if you want to change the culture, the only way to do that is to win games. Hopefully, Aaron Glenn could go out there and win way more than 5 games that this team just won. Like, Salo won 7 2 years ago. This team should be able to go 9-8 next year. That's a fair expectation. Like, enough. When do we get to see wins? When do we have a winning season? I'm tired of losing. And it's hard now to feel like, oh, we have any chance with a first-time coach. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah. You got to build the trenches, right? You control the trenches, you control the game, and that's good enough for 7-8 wins. You get one of these quarterbacks who's on the upper tier in the NFL, and that's the difference maker that wins you more games. How great the quarterback depends how many more games above that. But you look at all these teams, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, they control the Philly. They control the trenches, and they're able to do at will, rush the passer, stop the run the ball, pass protect, control the trenches, control the game, get the difference maker behind them. That's the whole key to the NFL nowadays, in my opinion.
I love this comment from Wild Wave, Mr. I hate Aaron Rodgers. He is Satan. 9-8 with who at quarterback because Rodgers shouldn't come back. So let me get this straight. You don't think the Jets have a better chance to have a winning record with Aaron Rodgers, Wild Wave? I mean, thank you for your support. Your day is over.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
I mean, win as many games as possible. That's the point. If Aaron Glenn and Aaron Rodgers see eye to eye and they want to bring him back for a year, find me a better quarterback. Like, that's my thing. You're going to tell me Tyrod Taylor for the 5 games he plays and then he's carted off on a stretcher? Like, that sounds terrible to me. No, thank you.
All right. I just wanted to come on and I like the hat, by the way. That's a real dope hat.
I like yours. You look good. I like your beard as well.
Thank
Looks
you.
very nice.
Got some new beard products. Was just putting it on when I got home. Glad you like it. You're the first one to see it.
What are your thoughts on
all right.
Beastbreaker saying, to all you morons who piss Jake off, you all need a beast exam? What do you think a beast exam is?
Don't want to find out. It probably goes up to the elbow, and I have no interest in that.
Interesting.
I'm good. Pass. Hard pass. No
right.
interest in the beast and being anywhere near an exam with him.
Sounds good, Nick. Well, I appreciate you calling in.
Well, here's to this regime being successful.
Please win games.
That's amen.
Nick
One
Shine,
year,
everybody.
right?
The Nick
One
Shine
year.
Show. Go subscribe. One of the greats. More calls right now. I'm told this guy is interviewing for the OC job under Aaron Glenn. Edward Ziff. What's up, Edward?
Hey, Jake. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I just...
Hold on, Edward. $100 super chat. Whoa, baby. 20 raffle tickets for Frank. Sound the alarm. AG's resume is impressive, and he's earned this opportunity. If any candidate deserves our support, it's a Parcells guy who comes from the beginning of when a lot of our fandoms began, which bled into 09 and 10. Always go with the candidate who wants the job, not the one who needs it. In theory, I agree, Frank, but how do you know Mike McCarthy didn't want the job if they didn't interview him? How do you know Brian Flores didn't want the job? How do you know Pete Carroll didn't want the job? Or John Gruden? How do you know Joe Brady didn't want the job? The Jets haven't been transparent with who's turned them down. Or who they themselves just said, nah, we're good. They wanted Glenn the whole time. They better be right. This guy's never been a head coach before. You have no idea. You have no clue. But you are right. Aaron Glenn deserves the support of the fan base. I'm just telling you, people are not going to be patient if this team is on their way to winning 4 games next year. Not going to happen. You got a guy being paid millions to learn on the job. How it always is around here. Great. JJ says, banning someone for a football take is rough. You must be new to the show, JJ. When we send someone to the hole, means they can't comment for the rest of the show. All right? When I send you to Stupid Town, you're out for 5 minutes. And thank God, because I don't even want to look at you anymore. Bye.
F you. F you. F you too.
Anyway, we got that established. Frank, thank you again, though, for the super chat. I appreciate it. BL writes in, wonder if Glenn could try and make a move for Hendon Hooker. I want nothing to do with Hendon Hooker. You mean the guy that was supposed to be the backup to Goff, and then they bring in Teddy Bridgewater, who's coaching high school, and then he comes in and is immediately their backup on 2 weeks' notice? No thank you. If Hendon Hooker can't be the Lions' backup 3 years into his NFL career, I'm good. Back to Edward we go. Edward, what do you got for us?
Oh, hey, how you doing? No, I understand that. Yeah, I'd bump you for $100 super chat too. So you got to give the props to the guy. Yeah, really pays the bills.
It does.
Apartments ain't. You're not in Houston anymore. You're in New York City now.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not in Houston today. See the amount of snow they got down there?
No, I'm down here in North Carolina, so we might get some snow today, but it's no big deal. I've made my feelings clear. I really wanted Rex back. I know some people didn't want it, but I mean, I wanted Rex. But I got to be honest with you, I really wasn't on the Vrabel thing because I just kind of knew that his heart wasn't really in it. He's a Patriot. He really wanted that job, and I'm sure that there was some back channel
that job
talks
wasn't
between.
open yet, though, when he met with the Jets, Edward.
Yeah, but there was some back channel talk, I'm sure, because Kraft, I mean, he stole Belichick from us. So, I mean, with all his back channel bullshit. So, I don't trust that guy anyway. But anyway, I think Mayo just said too many weird things that just rubbed the team the wrong way. You want to call a team soft in the locker room and keep it in the locker room, that's fine. But once it got out into the press, he was pretty much doomed because you can't have stuff like that out in the press. It just can't. It's just not good. But anyway, getting back to Aaron Glenn, he did a phenomenal job the past couple of seasons with Detroit. I mean, especially this year. All the injuries. I mean, even in the playoff game the other day, I mean, he lost his starting cornerback in the first quarter with a broken arm. I mean, this guy had literally been making chicken salad out of chicken shit all year on the defense, and they won 15 games. So, and I can't blame the last game on Aaron Glenn. I mean, Goff gave up the ball 5 times. Well, not just Goff, but I mean, the offense gave up the ball 5 times. You tell me a playoff team that's going to win a game with 5 turnovers. It just doesn't happen. That's not on him. He did a great job.
I don't even care about that. Like that.
I know you want an established guy. You want an established guy.
Edward,
yeah.
That had zero to do with my thoughts on Aaron Glenn as a candidate, good or bad.
Oh, I know. You like him. It's just you wanted an established guy. And you're more disappointed that they didn't interview McCarthy. They didn't interview Chucky. They didn't interview these other guys. That's where your issue is. At least interview them. Even if you don't hire them, at least you get a taste of maybe they'll do something that I didn't think of. And I get that, you know. That being said, I mean, he's probably going to be hired later today or tomorrow at the latest. And I just wish him well. I mean, you know, I saw Aaron Glenn play. That guy was great. I mean, he was great. 5'9", maybe 200 pounds. That guy was great. And I think that even though he's not an offensive guy, I think at least he'll get the defense back on track, because clearly Ulbrich lost the defense when Saleh was gone. I mean, I think he's a good coach.
He's got to coach the whole team.
I know that. We
could have just kept Robert Saleh if that's the goal.
Well, I'm on board with that. I mean, I get that, but we all knew that if they didn't win this year, Saleh and Joe D were gone. I mean, we all knew that we were running it back this year, and they were going to be gone last year. But God, it's just, you know, I'm 64. I just want to see a winning season, and you know what? I just hope Aaron Glenn does a good job. He is a Jet, so even though we didn't get Rexy, I mean, I'm gonna root for them. I don't buy into this rooting for losses. Now, I mean, if the season's dead, yeah, then I'm like, well, if they win, that's nice. If they lose, better draft pick. But, I mean, I don't understand these idiots that are saying, I hope he loses if we get Aaron Glenn. It's like, you want to tank the season before the season? That's just fucking stupid. You don't do that. That's not a fan. I mean, like I said, you know, when you lost like 9 games already, 10 games, you're out of the playoffs. Then it does, you know, if they win, my feeling is if you lose, better draft pick. If you win, all right, it's good going into next season, gives you a little bit more momentum. But to root for Aaron Glenn to fail, that's not a fan.
No,
that's just not a fan.
Amen, Edward. Amen. Good call. Look, we all should want Aaron Glenn to do a good job. I just have major doubts. I hope he crushes it. He's a qualified candidate. Where I'll defend Aaron Glenn is anyone saying he doesn't deserve the opportunity. That's just not true. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something in the water today in the chat. The buffoonery just continues to get worse and worse. It's truly amazing. This comment comes from Oregon Jets, who writes in, send yourself to stupid town. Rodgers is uncoachable and a culture killer. You want a new staff to bet their future on the most selfish player in the NFL? Oh, yeah. He's such a cancer, man. That's why Breece Hall and Jermaine Johnson are actively on social media trying to say, bring Rodgers back. That makes a ton of sense. Please. Bet their future on Rodgers. It'd be for a year, you dope. Where are you finding a better option to try and win games next year? Moron.
I'm glad to be in Asman's Shadow Realm.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers is a glutton for fame. I don't think he loves his teammates. I think he loves attention.
GFY. First word is go and the last word is yourself.
For all you people who want Rodgers out of here, just remember how shit it was before he got here. Just remember. I mean, the idea that Rodgers with better coaching is still not their best chance, I'm not buying it. Assuming he takes a pay cut, which he says he would, and Devontae's back. No Rodgers, no Devontae, so you don't have a quarterback. And then, so what? Is just Garrett Wilson in the receiver room and Malachi Corley, who can't even get on the field? Okay. If that's what you want, ladies and gentlemen, with the 3rd pick in the 2026 NFL draft, the Jets select probably someone who's going to suck anyway. Because I could easily say with the 1st pick, but we know the Jets will screw up the tank and not end up picking number 1. So they won't get, I guess it'd be Arch Manning or whoever. What a joke. I mean, people out there, get a grip. Get a grip. You're insane. More calls right now. We need a calming presence.
I got my Iron Uji
I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see. Sometimes when I have a few drinks, I slip and fall and break my face. Not that my vision was bad enough. Now I have this dog shit scar. Hi, Jake.
David, how are you?
I'm good. And you know what? It might be full moon out there tonight. And I hope it doesn't mean that the Nets are going to beat the Knicks. I would put my hat over my eyes.
I'll tell you what, if the Knicks lose to this version of the Nets, that would be a major problem.
Oh my God, that would be disaster. But good stuff. I won't keep you on long, but they're making the choice with Aaron Glenn, and now it's time to put the arrow forward. And I'm glad you guys brought up Aaron Rodgers because I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, and I after this year I just depending on what was going to happen, what they were going to decide with him, and all that kind of stuff. But I can see. I can see Aaron Rodgers still being there this year, and being. I'm selfish. I would be tickled to death about it. And the main point I want to make, Jake, is Aaron Glenn comes in, just get the team back to winning ways and competitive, and don't put a mandate even on the playoffs. I'm going to grit my teeth on that one, but put the arrow forward, and because there's no other too much opportunities at other quarterbacks, maybe make Aaron Rodgers the bridge quarterback and all that. Maybe that's just wishful thinking for me.
I hope, for the love of God, David, that Aaron Glenn's a good coach and that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback for at least one more year and they could try and compete for a playoff spot. Because I don't see it with a first-year coach and no Rodgers. I don't see it.
I hear you.
I hope it's like Mangini in 06, where Chad, healthy, came back, better coaching than what they had in 05, and the man genius was born with a 10-6 season when the Jets were supposed to win 4 games that year, and they ended up making the playoffs. That's what I hope 2025 is like for the Jets with Glenn.
I hear you. I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Great call by David T. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Rex Ryan's in the house. He says, wait, so I didn't get the job. Rex, I'm going to have to be the one to, I guess, break it to you. You didn't get the job. But your interest in the job did provide us with this.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. You tried to throw him away, but this man's coming back. Sometimes he's fat or thin. That waistband makes him slim. He's got the fix you need. They call him sexy. Rexy.
Fuck Gruden, he's no jet. I'm here to crack some skulls. I'll turn these boys to men. This team is stacked with pros. Hire me, you won't break your purse. I'm here to break the curse. They call me sexy. Rexy. Fuck all you naysayers.
Ooh, sexy. Ooh, he's sexy, Rexy, sexy. He's sexy, Rexy, sexy. He's sexy, Rexy, sexy. He's sexy, Rexy.
Hit the like button, comments, questions, super chats, gift the membership to win the signed Aaron Glenn card, the signed Breece Hall jersey card, or the grand prize, the signed and authenticated Garrett Wilson jersey for our next raffle. More of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the largest audience that this next caller will experience. I believe it is time to unleash the beast.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker, 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Beast, how are you?
Oh, I'm very angry. Oh, to all these fakers out here. Hey,
Aaron Rodgers is a great goddamn quarterback. To all you bitching, whining, nagging, useless pieces of human dog turds, you all are nothing more than delusional, mental, and psychotically, idiotically foolish because you don't know shit from Shinola. And to all the fake fans, Jake's had a rough day. You're making him very mad. How about you? How about you go me? Come on. I'm in the ring. Get your pansy asses in the ring, and I'll go one-on-one with you and knock your teeth out until you're on the ground crying like a little slut. Now, I'm going to get down to facts. This bitching, this whining, this pissing excuses, game over. It's time to man up or shut up. I'm tired of it. It's annoying.
Let's go. Let's win some games, Beast. Let's go.
Damn right. That's why this season, this pissing and moaning and groaning, enough is enough. I'm sick of it. And I love this hat, by the way. It is too freaking cool. Let me just say,
you're a real ass maniac, Beast. There you go.
Hey, everybody's got to pay the price. Hey, in the words of the great $1 million man, hey, everybody's got a price for the $1 million man. Not on the business. Enough's enough. To all the fake fans who don't know our organization, shut your mouth and learn to listen. This is our organization. We, the real Jet fans, the ones that have been here since the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, we're warriors. To all you new, over-the-top, overbearing, undercut, low-life, egg-sucking, four-flushing carcasses, you're all going to learn discipline because you don't have it yet. Let me just say this. You're millennials. You're down here. We're up here. You know why? We got the common sense. You guys are down here. You're going to need to, go get other school there, fools, and you'll be just fine. But I want to tell you right now, anybody who pisses Jake off again is going to get this right across the damn teeth. And this one right across the left eye. I'm serious. I've had just enough of this crying, whining, bitching, pissing, moaning, lying, and other excuses. Either you man up to this organization or get the hell out of here. Enough's enough.
Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he'd gobble-goo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beastbreaker 666. What a call. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey R. wants in on the raffle. How about a 20 spot of channel membership?
I think the second one. Excuse me.
Let's go, Jeffrey. Let's go.
Money, 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 money.
It's raining memberships. Grab the Gustbuster umbrella. 20 names to read. It's that time of the show again, folks. Jeffrey R. making it happen. Sodak Jets, Cassandra Future, Ricky Ricardo, Jet Fan, 911, Matt Burns, Fab 5 Freddy, Barry Beck, JK, Matt from L5, Ryan Moss, Shad Johnson, Barbarossa, Gang Green, Catskills, Doan Syndrome Brewing, New York Jets. Where's my rain? Where's my rain? Damn it. There it is. Mr. McMoney, Dean, Anderson Simpson, Doc Averick, all receiving memberships from Jeffrey R. Jeffrey, thank you very much for the support, my friend. We will get you down in the raffle for 20 entries on top of your other entries from previous shows. Raffle will be next week. Garrett jersey, Glenn card, Breeze card. Top 3 prizes. I might add more because I'm hoping we get a ton of entries and we'll add something sweet to it. Jeffrey R. Athlon Sports reporting Newmark and Glendale is done. Well, that'd be Nick Faria. I mean, it's basically a done deal. I mean, we gave you the Connor Hughes report. All that. Also, quick baseball news. Congrats to one of my favorite Yankees ever, CC Sabathia, first ballot Hall of Famer. Boom. CCU in Cooperstown. Legend. One of the best big game performers in Yankee history, CC. They don't win in 09 without him. Ichiro in the Hall of Fame, too. No surprise. Billy Wagner made it, too. So there you go. Let's see. If Aaron Glenn lands a head coaching job, keep an eye on Lions linebackers coach Kelvin Shepard is a hot name for landing a defensive coordinator role. Would that be with the Lions or with the Jets? I want Steve Wilkes to be the Jets DC. He's been a head coach before. I guess we'll see. More calls right now. PBM's next. What's up, Mike?
Yo, with Glenn being our head coach, obviously that way it looks. Do you think we need at least one former head coach on the staff?
Yeah.
Whether it's like offensive coordinator, even special teams, like at least one former AC?
100%.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I'll be really upset if it's all like people under him or just from the Lions organization that were never in those roles before.
Yeah, and I mean, if they have a first-time DC, a first-time OC, and with a first-time head coach and a first-time GM, I might retire. Honestly,
Yeah,
I can't do it. I can't
do that again. We can't do that again. But I know you're not on the Jackson Dart train.
No, I don't want him 7th overall.
Listen. If I can tell you right now, Jackson Dart becomes just like Jordan Love.
You can't though. Because you can't. Because
I'm saying hypothetical.
Yeah, obviously, if you tell me that Jackson Dart's going to be, a really good young quarterback, then yeah, he's worth a top 7 pick. You have no idea.
I don't have any idea.
If I told you he's going to be Josh Rosen, would you take him 7th overall?
No, of course not.
So we're playing the same semantic game here.
But what I'm saying is if our new GM and the scouts and whatever believe in him,
that's different.
If we draft him, then we have to believe that they're making the right decision.
I hope. I would question the scouting if they think Jackson Dart is worthy of a top 7 pick.
Well, right now he's not. But remember, Josh
Was I supposed to
Allen,
trust Mike McCagnon when he took Christian Hackenberg in the 2nd round?
Well, yeah. Well, Josh Allen had a 2nd round grade on him right after the season, also, and then the Senior Bowl and the Pro Day he shot up. So they're all projecting him to have the same thing. So who knows if he's going to be as good or if he needs the time or not. But I think if he sat behind Rodgers for a year or maybe 2, who knows. But
that plan I like, but do we have to do it at 7? Why not try and trade back into the 1st round or take him early 2nd round?
I'm worried that the Giants might trade back and have the same mindset if they miss out on the 2 quarterbacks right away.
Maybe.
But, I mean, draft is far away, but not really. So, and for us, that's the main thing, I guess, and free agency. So, I just hope they get it right. I'm tired of losing.
Yeah,
just like you.
I think they're going to lose more if they take Jackson Dart at number 7.
Well, I hope you're wrong if they do it.
Believe me, I'm like some morons in my line of work. I rather be wrong if it means my team is going to win.
Yeah, and look, if someone else drafts him and he sucks, I will be happy that I was wrong and we didn't go that way. Like, that's fine.
Honestly, we should just ask Gary what he would do with Jackson Dart, where he draft him, because he's never been wrong about any quarterback evaluation ever.
That's true, actually. Is he on?
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now to weigh in on Jackson Dart.
Chicken with pasta is worse than peanut butter with sandwich.
Look, I like Dart. Dart, you guys are going to hate him because he's going to throw interceptions. So if we draft Dart, I can't have you guys 2 weeks in saying he sucks and he's no good. He's not going to be good right away. I do think over time he will be good. But the miss rate on him is relatively high compared to other quarterbacks because he's a gunslinger who's unafraid. Like, he's a little raw. He comes from a really college offense. He doesn't come from a pro-style offense. It's going to take time.
So if they draft him, he should sit behind Aaron Rodgers is what you're saying.
I didn't say Rodgers, but something like that. Yes, I would sit him for a year.
So his profile is similar to Josh Allen coming out and Jordan Love. Gunslinger, throws a lot of interceptions.
Jordan
can
Love
be
I
good.
like.
Big
I mean,
size, big arm.
I don't like comping anyone to Allen because Allen's like a freak of nature. But I think Jordan Love is that's a better comp. You know,
I think Mel Kiper said it. I think it was Mel Kiper. He said that his comp was Jordan Love.
I think that's fair. I don't know if you're.
Show us the dog. Show us the dog. Show us the dog. Yes. There it is. Tremendous.
Yep.
I don't know. PBM, you're old. Jake Plummer. Do you remember Jake Plummer?
Yep.
That's the comp for Dart?
I mean, do you think you're going to get Dan Marino? I mean, I think Plummer was a solid quarterback. I mean, I don't think you're getting the world's greatest quarterback. I think you're getting someone who will turn into a pretty good quarterback. Kerry Collins is like, I think that kind of, you're going to have some good, you're going to have some bad, you're going to have a tough nose. Kerry Collins, I would say, is a good comp. Something like that. He's
you know what's crazy? As a Jet fan, Kerry Collins sounds good compared to what we've had.
He went to Super Bowl.
So sad to say. Oh my God.
I like Dart. I don't think you're getting the next great thing, but I think he'll be a good quarterback given
I like Dart.
the right time and system.
I look forward to Jackson Dart debates this offseason. Thrilling.
Let's go Dart, baby! Jackson!
Chicken doesn't go with pasta. Don't you know it's disgusting? Chicken can't go with pasta. Why? Because of the texture. Instead, go get yourself pizza at the closest Shell gas station. Cause chicken don't go with pasta. I just discovered dogs are pets.
We'll check back in with Gary in a bit. NYJ took Pepto-Bismol after seeing touchdown stats. Yeah, to all the people saying, no way they should consider bringing Rodgers back. Okay, here are the touchdowns thrown by Jet quarterbacks the last 5 seasons. Yep, keep telling me that they shouldn't even consider bringing Aaron Rodgers back. Keep telling me he's the reason why they only won 5 games, as if you conveniently leave out the amount of times the defense collapsed with the lead in the fourth quarter, or the amount of kicks Greg Zuerlein missed. Look, if they want to move on from Rodgers, fine. But they better have a real plan. I mean, that's a fact. Derek says, I'm new on here. How much you got to pay to talk, Jake? Because these dudes takes crazy. Derek, the show is free, man. I'm able to do this for a living because of generous listeners who super chat and gift memberships, and between that and what YouTube pays me, I make it work. But the show is free. It will always be free. Now, I do offer bonus content on Patreon if you're interested in that, but the show is free. Just click the link. You can call in. You could comment live or after the fact if you're a subscriber. The show is free. More of your calls right now. Big Cho Jet is next. What's up, Big Cho?
What's up, Jake? How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Hey, I got a bone to pick with some of the people on this show. I've been looking at the chats that go up and down on your screen, and I'm having a real problem with somebody calling you a racist. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they said they weren't going to listen to the show anymore because you're racist. Well, first of all,
yeah, I did see that.
Who gives a fuck if you listen to the show or not? Nobody cares. And the second of all, are they trying to call you a racist because you're not a big fan of Glenn and he's black? Well, let me tell you something. For the last several weeks, you've been tooting Brian Flores's horn for weeks, and I believe he's black. So I don't get it.
Yeah, look, someone tweeted me today, Big Show, and I responded. What was this douchebag who tweeted me? I already had him muted, so I didn't even see it until someone else tagged me in it. This asshole tweeted me, Jake wants the Jets to interview a bunch of old whites like Carroll, McCarthy, and Gruden, all who have failed in their most recent years, but is mad about a young, energetic coordinator who's a culture setter, whom I wonder why. And I responded on Twitter, I was vocal about wanting the Jets to hire Brian Flores. So to insinuate that I'm racist is not only baseless, but downright absurd. your comment says more about your ignorance than anything else, loser. So don't worry about it, Big Show. That guy is a moron.
Nah, I got your 6, man, because I just don't like it when people they're not intelligent. They have nothing to say. They've got nothing in their background. So the first thing they're going to say is somebody's racist. That's the only thing that they can do is throw out the race card, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
it's
wanted to
all
call and
good.
get you back on that. But what I really wanted to call about that was, every time I call in, I say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. I think he should be coming back. Yes, he needs to take a pay cut. If he takes a pay cut, learns a new offense, we get Devontae back. We got a new coach, new coordinator, some new juice. I think it'll work out because I do believe that I don't know how many more years Rodgers is going to have left. Let's say he has only one more. So if he only has one more year, we've got to draft a quarterback. I'm not saying at 7, but I'm saying in the later rounds. And alarm's going off. In the later rounds, and so he could mentor this quarterback because you don't know how many more years Aaron Rodgers has left. So I've been saying that. So I agree with you. They should get him to come back. But as far as people saying they use the word punt, I hear that on your show a lot of times. We should punt on the quarterback or punt on the season. That's bullshit. We've been punting for 14 years. I'm sick of punting. I want to win now. I think we're in hell as well. So I want to at least make the playoffs and then go from there. Look what Washington has done. I call them the Redskins. They made a run in the playoffs. So once you get there, it's anybody's game. So I'm tired of these people. I don't know. You got me fired up. You got me fired up earlier when you got fired up. So I'm all fired up today.
Well, Joe, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for the kind words, and I'm with you, man. They should try and win as many games as possible next year, and I still think Aaron Rodgers gives them their best chance to do that. Now, if he doesn't want to redo his contract, aka take a pay cut, or he's going to be stubborn and not want to learn a new offense, then you move on. But if he wants to play, which he has not fully said he does, but I believe it's semantics. I think if the Jets say we want you, I think he'll play. I would bring him back for 1 year and maybe draft someone late first, second round, and that guy sits. Or maybe it's Jordan Travis that is the backup, and if the Jets are out of it next year, you evaluate Travis because then you're likely going quarterback in 26 if he's not the guy. I think you're transparent with Rodgers. You say, look, we're going to try and win as many games as possible. But no, if we fall out of it, you're not going to finish the year as the starting quarterback. That happened in 2007, the year after the Jets made the playoffs in 2006. Remember Pennington sat for Kellen Clemens, who was taken in the second round? They wanted to see what he had. He sucked, but they wanted to see what he had. Lando checks in. Tet McMillan or Mason at 7. Will Howard in the second. He has clean mechanics, 6'4", can run, and has experience with multiple offenses, 1 year behind Rodgers. Will Howard's an intriguing prospect. I'm not anti that necessarily. Big fella, as Rodgers says he wants to play. Not yet. Benny, goodness gracious, I can't believe how long we went without a quarterback throwing double-digit touchdowns. We absolutely better have a solid plan if we drop Rodgers. Yeah, I found this graphic, and I hope it puts into context just how shit it's been at quarterback for all you people just automatically wanting to run Rodgers out of here. I'm not saying he has to definitely be here. I have very clear things that would need to happen if he's the quarterback next year. But we had one moron, I think it was Wild Wave, say just get rid of him now that Glenn is here. Just get rid of him. Okay. With the third pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select someone who probably is goddamn awful. Get ready. Be careful what you wish for. It drives me crazy. As a black man, allow me to clear the air with this racist crap. Jake has been extremely kind to me, even in the private chat. Nothing racist. Bo, I appreciate it, man. I know I'm not racist. Anyone who watches this show knows about racist. That guy on Twitter who accused me of that is an idiot. But I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you. All right. I'm so racist because I wanted the Jets to interview Mike McCarthy, John Gruden, and Pete Carroll. I also wanted them to hire Brian Flores. Whatever. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. John says Jake is anti-tank because it's bad for his bottom line. No, I'm anti-tank because they haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. Haven't had a winning season in 10. I could give a crap about what's good for my bottom line. I am a Jet fan first. I don't know if you know this. I have other jobs. I work for ESPN New York. I work for SiriusXM. I had a full-time job in Houston doing afternoon radio for 6 years. You know what's good for my bottom line? My health. My health is better when the Jets don't suck. Oh, my God. You think I care about anti-tank because of my bottom line? No, I'm a fan. I want to win. I'm tired of doing shows where I got to bring on Bobby Midnight telling us about his ass hair smelling. I want to do shows talking about playoff games, not doing mock drafts in October. Oh, my God. Shut up. I want to win games. They have not won more than 7 games in a decade. Don't tell me it's bad for my bottom line if they suck. I started this channel in 2021 coming off a 2-14 season. Are you out of your mind? I want to win. You people are nuts. You want to throw away next year? You think I like having to hear about Bobby Midnight's ass hair? I don't care. I want to win football games. I'm so sick of it, man. This team hasn't had a home playoff game in over 20 years. They have the longest playoff drought in professional sports. And you want to talk about tanking and you think I'm anti-tanking because it's bad for my bottom line? You think that's why I want the Jets to win? Oh my God. I can't. You know what? I need a break because I can't do this. Here's Aaron Glenn.
Why jump right back into this?
Man, I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna try to make this a quick story. So, and a lot of people don't even know this about me. Retired in 2008. Man, I owned 8 restaurants from 2008 to 2011. All right, you guys right there called Frenchies in Houston. Yeah, I actually owned 8 of them at one point. And they were doing well. Man, I actually had one in the Texan Stadium. All right, I had one right across the street, right from the Texas. So the players used to always come over and eat. Man, it was like a club on Sundays. All right, it was good and it was doing well. So man, I'm at home. It's probably 2010. I'm at home and I'm watching SportsCenter or something like that. And man, I am cursing the TV out. I'm watching somebody play and I'm just cursing the TV out. They should have done this. They should have done that. All right, and my wife's in there and she was like, "Hey, G." I'm like, "What?" She said, "Go coach."
Right.
I'm like, "Wow. What do you mean?" She said, "Listen, it's cool you doing your restaurant thing, right? And you like that, but you love ball. You love ball." And man, when I tell you a weight was off my shoulders after that, because I was like most guys, coming out, man, I have to be this big time businessman. I have to sit behind a desk wearing a suit and tie. And man, that wasn't me. And I'm doing something that I liked, but I didn't love. And I want to make sure if I do something, man, my heart got to be in it. And once she told me that, I jumped right in it, man. And at that point, and this is a saying I always say, I didn't stick my toe in the water to see if it was cold. I jumped right on in there. Right. And I scouted, in-house scout with the Jets a couple of years. Then I went on the road. I was driving for hours, right, college scouting. Then I went right to being an assistant DB coach. I did my QC thing because I want to make sure I didn't miss one step. I want to start from the bottom. I told everybody I was there, don't treat me any different than anybody else, right? Because I want to understand everything there is about the scouting process. I want to know everything about being a QC. I want to know everything about being an assistant coach, all right, to a lead DB coach, to a defense coordinator I am right now, right? And I'm hoping to be a head coach at some point. So I didn't want to miss one step, so you can't tell me that I haven't seen it, just like with a player.
God. I hope for the love of God he's awesome. Anything is possible. Much needed. After John's comment. Hey, John, this YouTube channel started in 2021. I've been a Jet fan my entire life. What's good for me is the Jets winning. I'd pay for them to win. God. More calls right now. TH3 Entertainment is next in line. Hello, TH3.
What's up, Jake? How's it going?
What's up, man? I'm doing better now that I'm drinking some Henny.
I was going to say the Henny always helps. Yeah, man. I just had a couple questions. One pertaining to, the GM and coaching search, and then one sort of draft related. So I get the feeling that, I would be a lot happier with Glenn and Newmark if they just had followed sort of a more traditional sort of path of going about this all. Because I don't know about you, but I don't trust them to do their due diligence. Casting a wide net and interviewing every Tom, Dick, and Harry, that's not due diligence. Due diligence is doing what everybody else did, getting right on the mark, interviewing your preferred candidates, requesting interviews, and then bringing a handful back for a second interview. So you really get to know and get your pick. It's almost like they decided Glenn was the guy as soon as they lost Vrabel.
Yep.
I that's the feeling I get. And it kills me.
I agree. I completely agree with that. To me, it was like, we can't get Vrabel. Well, Glenn's our guy. That's it. 100%.
I like Glenn. Glenn is the guy I wanted behind Vrabel. But I just wish they would have interviewed Mike McCarthy or I like John Gruden because I was a Bucs fan when he won the Super Bowl with us. I like John Gruden. I know that he's fallen out of favor, but the guy can coach. I see him in interviews and on podcasts. The guy knows football and he wants in. I just feel like if they'd really just taken the more traditional route, I could take them more seriously and trust that they did their real due diligence. I hope Glenn's great. Maybe he is great. And sometimes you get it right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. That's the Jets. I'm hoping, but it just kills me. I hate the way they went about it. And I really, there wouldn't have been anyone that really bummed me out besides Arthur Smith. But the way they did it, I almost feel like whoever they hired, I wouldn't be happy either. If they'd have followed the more traditional path, I'd be totally cool if we went with a Joe Brady or someone, I'd be totally cool with it. But
yeah, I agree. And also I don't understand why Aaron Glenn, and I like him as a candidate, he's qualified. I want to make that clear. But why does Aaron Glenn get to pick the GM he's working with? What is Aaron?
Why
Glenn
are we anointing him emperor of the New York Jets and we've never seen the guy be a head coach for a snap?
If Aaron Glenn is such a great candidate, then okay, there'd be other GMs who have more experience than Lance Newmark, who have better resumes than Lance Newmark that want to work with him. Why is Newmark attached to Glenn? Why can't I understand you want them to be aligned, but be adults. Aaron Glenn can work with other GMs besides Lance Newmark.
Every other job in America, you don't get to choose your coworkers. You don't get to choose your boss in every other job in America. So why Aaron Glenn? Why does he get to? I totally get it. But on to the draft, because that's the part that the whole process of that drives me crazy.
I can't do the draft. TH3, thank you. I cannot do the draft right now. Appreciate the call. On to the draft. No, I'm not doing draft right now. South Philly, gifted a membership. Thank you, South Philly.
Free stuff.
If you hear your name called, it's from South Philly. He's in the raffle. GTA IV Man. You are a channel member. Congratulations. More of your calls. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to one of the all-time greats, for being real. Here we go.
It's time for another V-Man call. Hopefully he's not on the toilet.
Hey, Jake, what's up? How you doing?
Oh, are you in the bathroom again?
No, this is a kitchen.
It looked like that was a curtain there, and you're sitting on the John. That's the angle.
That's outside.
I'm seeing what the chat is saying. A lot of speculation. All right.
Look.
Does that? I see you're in a kitchen. I just saw a stove. I just wanted to clarify because we got a huge audience right now. There's 800 people watching this live.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Hold on. John just tried to gift a membership. John, I don't want your blood money after what you did to me. Get out of here.
Free stuff.
Well,
I will put you in the raffle, John. Let's see who got this. Member, hold on, B-Man. Let's see who got this. Mike F. You got a Blood as Maniac membership from John. John, thank you. Go ahead,
All I
B-Man.
was gonna say is actually we just came back from Home Depot. I'm gonna have to go back because I forgot to buy something. And actually, I was there. Someone recognized me from the show and gave me they wanted me to show off their gift card because they sell coffee. I mean the business card. Sorry, business brain farting.
Someone recognized you from the show?
Yeah, and they're in mail pack and they sell. Yeah, his name's Frank and he sells coffee.
All right, I'll give him a free plug. What is it? Hold it up. Bosco's Beans.
Mhm.
Frank Carlino. All right. Shout out to Frank Carlino, big ass maniac, recognizing V-Man out and about.
Yeah, no. So with the stuff, and I was wanting to talk about it with people. I agree with you. Like, yeah, I think Glenn is well deserving of a job. I do agree the process should have been done better. More people should be interviewed, and I get your frustration. I completely understand that.
Question
But
from Big Fella. Why does V-Man have an oven in his bathroom?
this is a kitchen. Like, I'm not gonna deal with this. Like, this is ridiculous. But I'm saying is with the Glenn hiring. Also, I heard the Knicks are playing the Nets tonight.
You heard correct.
Oh, thank God I can finally watch a Knicks game.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, Network.
Yeah, no, because I don't have MSG anymore. But getting back to the Glenn stuff.
Craig writes in, why does V-Man have a bathroom in his kitchen?
That's hilarious. But like, what is it? You want to come up? Someone wants to say hello.
Oh, here we go.
She's nagging. She wants her camera time. She's jealous. But like I said, with the Glenn take is that I think, like I said, I think he's deserving. I think
Leon wants to know, do winter hats help with constipation?
Winter hats help with constipation. I don't know,
Also,
but
the side commentary from V-Mom is always one of my favorite parts of any V-Man call.
no. But yeah, like I was saying, is the Glenn stuff, like bashing him is ridiculous. I think let the man coach. Let the man. If he ends up being the guy, which all signs point to, yes. But let's just see what happens. Like there's no sense in being a negative Nancy about it. Just look, hope for the best. I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's a carbon copy of Saul. I think there are differences. Like I said, I think. Well, look, he's coming from a coaching staff that's known for its aggression. Was one of the biggest criticisms of Robert Saleh. Ultra conservative, and I think that's been a criticism of many of the recent Jets head coaches. I think bringing in someone who understands the necessary, who's seen aggression pay off, especially in Detroit. I think seeing that gives them a valuable perspective on that.
It could work. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just very uninspired by two first timers. Having never been in the roles before.
I know. I will say this. I do like the fact that they're looking into Steve Wilkes as DC because, having been in the coaching seat himself, so that does, I like that idea. Maybe, maybe they'll take a similar approach to the front office, bring in a former GM to help with running the front office. We don't know yet. We don't know who his department's going to be filled with. So we could, possibly see someone else. You never know.
100%. I mean, time will tell. Leon says V-Man is definitely a number 2 seed.
Oh God, are we ever gonna grow up beyond that?
No,
of course not. Well, because it's because we don't have anything better to talk about. We're here because we're Jets fans, and and we've been unfortunate to sit through just piles and piles of misery.
Well, V-Man, I'll tell you what. Great call, and we'll let you get back to your date on the John.
That's the end of this V-Man call. Time for him to get back to pooping.
All right, actual breaking news from Adam Schefter. Lions, DC, Aaron Glenn, Commanders assistant GM Lance Newmark, both who interviewed in person today with the Jets, have left the team's training facility. This feels like agent put it out there. They left. Try and get more money from the Jets. That's my feeling on this. This does not change my thought process at all that this is getting done. That they're going to hire Glenn and Newmark. Also, Schefter didn't even get the guy's name right. He called him Lance Newmark. No, I guess no one's even heard of the guy. So Schefter's just like, Lance Newmark? I still think a deal gets done. Connor Hughes just reported talks will continue. I would not panic. It's a done deal, folks. All right. You got Boy Green, I'm sure, freaking out, being like, Zoinks. Oh, my God. Relax, Paul. They're going to get it done. I see you in there. See? I'm telling you. Don't worry. They'll get it done. I also feel like Aaron Glenn might still interview with the Saints anyway. He might feel like he wants to give them a courtesy interview. Plus, he has leverage. The Jets, here's what the Jets have done. They've allowed themselves to basically put in a spot where if they don't hire Glenn, it's going to be like you couldn't even get Aaron Glenn. They should still have second interviews set up. Because now it's like if they don't end up with Aaron Glenn, it's like you had no other fallback plan. But like, remember, they let Saleh lead the building too. How could you let him leave the building? Well, guess what? They hired him. All right. I mean, if I could press a button and we replace Glenn with Flores, or McCarthy, I'll press that button right now. Please leave the building. All right. But I don't think it matters. I think Aaron Glenn's gonna be the Jet coach. This feels like agent trying to get more money. Oh, they left. But like the Jets I don't understand like why Lance Newmark, or as Schefter calls him, Lance Newark, maybe his favorite airport's Newark Airport. I don't understand why he's the guy that has to work with Aaron Glenn. Why? Why? You can't interview more GM candidates? He's the only guy that could work with. He's the Aaron Glenn whisperer. Oh, Aaron Glenn. Ooh. When did Aaron Glenn become Mike Bravel, where we're going to let the coach pick the GM who's never been a head coach before? When did Aaron Glenn become Bill Parcells? I really hope this works, but like I just unreal. But this does not change anything. I think both guys are still going to be hired by the Jets. Rex Ryan's back. Rex, you better go quick. They left the building. You better get the one Jets drive. Last chance. Jake, please stop interrupting. Let V-Man poop in peace. My bad, Rex. More of your calls. Let's check in with someone down under. Grab the boomerang. Craig in Australia is up next. Hello, Craig.
G'day, mate. How you going?
What's up, Craig? How are you?
Pretty good, all things being equal. I'm slightly underwhelmed by what looks like the probable outcome for coach and GM. What I do want to know is, if it doesn't work out, is there a refund clause from the 33rd team or whatever they're called? Because, it's just, I don't know where the money went. I mean, I think Woody could have easily got an OC, DC, assistant this, assistant that as GM and coach like we've had before. Not sure what we needed these guys for, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
It's kind of crazy, right? It's like, oh, Aaron Glenn's the guy they identified. And then it just feels like they're letting him pick the GM he wants to work with. It's like, you didn't need the 33rd.
I thought it was the other way around. I always thought it was the other way around.
In most cases, it is the other way around, except for like established coaches. Like Harbaugh picked his GM with the Chargers. Yeah. Sean Payton picked his GM with the Broncos. The only exception to this, Shanahan as an OC got to basically pick John Lynch to be his GM. But like most of the time, if you're a coach picking the GM, you've been a successful coach before. Like, and Shanahan was coming off a year where Matt Ryan was the MVP of the league, and he's an offensive guy. Like, that makes more sense than Aaron Glenn, who's a defensive guy, picking his GM. I hope it's great. I hope Lance Newark is incredible. I don't know why he needs to be the
Newark,
GM.
by the way. I love Newark. It means I'm coming to America. That's what that means.
There it is.
So, maybe Chef to put that in for me. I don't know. I don't really know.
Oh yeah.
A question. I saw Gary before, but I couldn't hear him because I had to take a call. Is he aware that Aaron Glenn is from Humble, Texas? Does he know this? And if so, does he approve?
So I'm glad you bring that up. So it's actually not Humble. Texas, the H is silent. And I learned this the hard way taking calls on my Houston show. Hey, Jim in Humble. And it's like, he's an out-of-towner. They knew right away. It's the H, for whatever reason, is silent in Humble. It's Humble, Texas.
It's a bit like in Australia, we say herbs. You guys say herbs. So you've got a few extra silent H's compared to us. But well, look, I assume he approves. When I call in from my home office next, he's going to see my framed flag of Texas on the wall behind me.
I love that.
Hope he's happy. And now, with regard to the raffle, don't worry. It would be insanely expensive to send it to me. So if I actually won, so if I happen to win the raffle, I'm happy to give away the major prize. No
way. Greg, if you win, I will get it to Australia. I don't care how.
I was going to say the first person.
I'll give it to Hawk. He'll bring it. He'll bring it with him to Australia.
I was going to say the first person in the chat who can tell me what is in the cocktail a mimosa, which is a great cocktail, by the way. And on the topic of Hawk, you do seem like you need a holiday, and Hawk's going to be here in 2 weeks. So there's time. There's time for you to book a flight next to him. He's a bit aerophobic, so he could probably do with someone giving him reinsurance and stuff like that. And you could have my office for the Jake Asman show.
I love it.
We have good internet in Australia, believe it or not, as far away as we are.
The time difference would be interesting. How many people would be live? At 4 a.m. Local time back in the States.
Yeah, you'd have to get up in the middle of the night to make it work. So I've only got one other question for you. Do we have any stats, back to football, on success rates of OC, DC types becoming head coaches and their long-term success? Do we actually have any idea? Because I imagine that's something you could work out.
On like DCs, OCs, like their success rate, you're saying?
Yeah, who then become head coaches, and is it like people who end up as head coach? Are they always some kind of coordinator beforehand, or most of the time?
Not always. Yeah, I mean, we could go through it. Like we could, I could take time and count it. Not always. I mean, there's exceptions, but most of the time, you're an offensive or a defensive coordinator, and then you get hired to be a head coach. Dan Campbell was a tight ends coach, though, for example.
All right.
John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach, he was a special teams coordinator, and he got the job. So, but those are like the exceptions. Kevin O'Connell was a quarterbacks coach, and then he made the jump to being a head coach. Or he might have been an OC for like only a year. More times than not, though, you're a coordinator before you become a head coach.
Fair enough. Well, look, all I can tell you is my expectation level is 0 at this point. So any success we have next year is a bonus. And if we have a shit season, it won't be as painful. It will be painful, but just not in the same way, I suppose. But still positive. Stranger things have happened, right?
Look.
And, we'll have an Asmaniac American in Australia, most likely, when the season starts. At least I hope so. We'll just have to wait and see. And before I go, everyone spare a thought for Sarah, because I heard her dog is sick, and I think has to go to the vet to be put to sleep today. So she's off today.
Sorry to hear that, Sarah.
Big Thor. So thoughts going out to Sarah. And on that note, I better actually do some work for a change. So I'm going to
ladies and gentlemen,
the
great Craig in Australia checking in. Man, Craig picking the Jets. He's like, I'm going to go to a game when I'm in New York. Happened to be a Jets game. And now look at him. This guy has seen nothing but just losing. Can you win 10 games next year for Craig in Australia? Even 9. Go 9-8. Gary says I'm full of bleep. I hate Glenn. I don't hate Aaron Glenn. But like this is what's amazing to me, right? I was accused of being too optimistic, too positive going into the year. Now I'm too negative. You know what I am? I'm a fan who gives an honest opinion. All right? I'm not a shill. When I think the Jets deserve credit, I will defend them. When I like the moves they make, I'll tell you I like them. That's how you know I'm keeping it real. I didn't want a first-time head coach with a first-time GM. Barring something last minute here, that's exactly what they're doing. So I'm going to take it all back and be like, actually, I love this. No, appreciate the fact that whether you agree with me or not, which is fine if you do or don't, it's truly my opinion. not the people I work with at ESPN or some of these other networks who flip-flop their takes every day. I call it how it is, Gary. You might not like it, but guess what? I don't hate Aaron Glenn. I want him to be awesome. I like Aaron Glenn as a candidate. He's qualified. I don't think he's the best fit for what the Jets need. I hope I'm wrong. But don't tell me I'm full of bleep and I hate Aaron Glenn. No, I want Aaron Glenn to be awesome. I just felt like there were other candidates with better resumes because they've been head coaches before than a guy who's never done it. That's so crazy of a take to say. Oh my God, I hate Aaron Glenn. Gary, you're full of bleep. Kiss my ass, bum.
Into the shadow realm you go.
It doesn't happen often where an NFL team or organization gets embarrassed. The Jets did that this year.
I think he needs to keep my coach's names out of his mouth.
I mean, give me a break, man. I get labeled as a Zach Wilson hater. I was a Zach Wilson truther by these same people. You know what I am? I'm a fan. I want to see this team not suck. So don't tell me that I hate Aaron Glenn. Why do I hate Aaron Glenn? I hope Aaron Glenn is awesome. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm thrilled and happy with this when I'm not. I'm not. I wanted a coach with experience. And I said, if they're going to hire a first-time coach, please, can the GM be someone who's done it? And they didn't either. So I'm supposed to sit here and be like, yep, this is great. I'll tell you the positives. We'll give you the negatives. And if you don't like it, find a different show. There's plenty of other good ones out there. I mean, it'd be nice to not suck. What have the Jets done to earn the benefit of the doubt? What has this owner done to earn the benefit of the doubt? It's 14 years and counting without the playoffs, 10 years without a winning record, 20-something years without a division title. I'm supposed to sit here and be positive? I've been positive the last 2 years, thinking this team was going to win 12 games and make the playoffs. Defending this team against all these a-holes in the national media, dumping on the Jets, dumping on Ryan, and all these guys end up looking right. So now I'm supposed to sit here and do it again when I look like a fool for backing this franchise the last several years? No. Win games, and then I'll be on board. I would love nothing more than a year from now saying they got the right coach in Aaron Glenn. That would make me ecstatic if I get to do that. Win games. You want the benefit of the doubt? Win football games. If they hired an experienced coach, I'd give the Jets the benefit of the doubt being like, I get what they did. They hired someone who's done it before. Makes sense. I don't know what Aaron Glenn is. I hope he's awesome. I promise you that. Alex is up next. What's up, Alex?
What's up, Jake? Yeah, listen, everything's one extreme or the other right now, right? With like society we live in. You say, Glenn's not my first choice. I'm not sure why they're propping him up so much, like he's the ideal candidate. And then everyone says, "Oh, you hate Glenn," right? Like everything is black and white. There's no gray area. By the way, I was listening to the guy from Australia. So he came to a Jets game, and then decided to become a Jets fan. Do we know what game he went to?
I think if I remember, he saw a win. I think he saw a Darnold performance against the Colts in 2018.
Okay, I remember that game.
They killed him. Yeah, I think that was the game.
I don't know if they won again that year.
That was the Broncos. They played. Yeah. They beat Denver at home and they beat Indy at home. Yeah. It was one of those games. Yep, it was the Colts. I got it right. Boom. My memory's not terrible.
There we go. Yeah, I think that got them 3-3 or 3-4, and then it was just sucked from there. But so I was talking to my friend last night about Glenn, and there's this trend going on, right, with players being the head coach or head coach of a team that used to play for that team, right? And it's successful so far with Dan Campbell with the Lions, D'Amico Ryans with the Texans, Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. All those guys have been great. Now the Patriots getting Vrabel. I think everyone thinks that's going to go well. I don't want to be pessimistic. Can't you just see it that it's going to go right for all those other teams? That we're going to bring in our former player, and then we're going to be the one team that it falls flat for.
Yeah, 100%.
I say that half kidding, but
no, that's exactly what I could see. 100. I have lost all hope. When I say that these last 2 years have done irreparable damage to the fan base, this is what I'm talking about. All right. Why am I now going to give the Jets the benefit of the doubt again? Why?
Right.
I've given them every benefit of the doubt every year, and they fail me. So I'm not going to. They have to earn it, man. Like that's exactly what I'm talking about, Alex. Like
Right.
I was all in these last 2 years, all in.
Right.
And so it's like when they start winning, I hope I look stupid for doubting this hire. I really do.
Exactly. And listen, I think I was in line with you, or Glenn was like my third choice. If you compare him versus Flores, I don't get what makes Glenn, other than that he played here, like what made him the better candidate than Flores. Flores had the head coaching experience, and you could argue that the last couple of years in Minnesota, he did a better job as the DC than Glenn did in Detroit, right? So, I'm not an anti-Glenn guy. I'll be rooting for him. I think there's upside with it. One other point, do you think that because the PR has been so bad around the team the last couple of years, the reason they didn't want to do like a swing for the fences, risky hire like McCown or Flores is that they didn't want to hire someone and then kind of open the door for people to be like, oh, LOL Jets, how do you hire McCown who has no offensive coordinator experience, right? Or how do you hire Flores that, he was a jerk to his quarterback supposedly with Tua, and they just wanted to kind of go with this like safe, cushy, positive PR hire. I'm not sure. That's obviously not all that went into their thought process, but I think that might have played a bit of a factor. And that's
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did when comparing Glenn versus McCown. Because honestly, the more I think about McCown, the more I'm like, why don't just hire him if we're going to do the first time coach thing, right? You know what I mean? Hire McCown, let him hire an experienced defensive coordinator, an experienced offensive coordinator, and let him grow into the role when you're going quarterback in 2026 anyway in the first round. Like, why not? So I'm with you. Look, Aaron Glenn might be awesome, but when it came to McCown or Glenn or any of these other first timers, I valued experience, and they didn't even talk to Mike McCarthy. It's not even being angry at Glenn; it's angry at the process of names that we've narrowed this list down to. We wasted so much time on jabroni candidates, and that enrages me. Enrages me they didn't talk to some of these guys. It really does.
Hopefully they'll get asked that I guess Tannenbaum won't be there at the opening presser, right? But will someone have the balls to ask Woody, why did you interview Mike Locksley and Joe Witt and not even go down the avenue of McCarthy, Carroll, Gruden? I don't know. Listen, I'm not, like I said, I'll be supportive of Glenn. I think there's a chance he's good. I like some of the clips you see. Seems like he's a good leader, ton of experience in football. We'll see the staff that he puts together. And I think that's going to be really the deciding factor of how I feel about him going into next year.
Agreed. I'll tell you what, I'm way more optimistic if it's Kubiak and Wilkes as his two coordinators.
Definitely. It's to have two guys that have. You mean Clint Kubiak, right?
Clint Kubiak,
okay.
Correct.
Well, yeah. Well, Wilkes
maybe Gary could be like an advisor or like a senior assistant if he wants back in. I have Gary. I will try and get Gary Kubiak on the show if I can. We would have him on my radio show in Houston.
Yeah. I mean, he was great. I mean, and just to have him, especially even more so than someone like Wilkes, if they can bring in two guys to be on the staff that have been head coaches before, especially someone who's had a level of success, I think that's just going to be such a difference maker compared to Salah's staff. That was it just felt like it was a lot of his buddies, other first timers, and he didn't understand all the pressure and all the hard work that was going to go into it, especially in New York. You need someone there to guide you. Hopefully Glenn has enough connections and he's smart enough to make those kinds of hires to join him.
They were too inexperienced, and they need to have guys that have done the jobs. That's a big thing for me. There needs to be some former head coaches on this coaching staff.
100% agreed.
I agree. Alex, great call, man. Keep calling. Name to watch, by the way, Darren Rizzi. Jersey guy, they interviewed him. I think that was an interview to be on the staff. Maybe he's the special teams coordinator and assistant head coach. I'd be good with that. By the way, Rizzi did a good job as the intern. You have Alvin Kamara on Twitter today saying that that's who he wants the Saints to hire. Hold on. I'm putting T on. This game, Knicks Nets is on TNT, by the way. Why the hell would you want that game? If you're TNT, I get it, you get the Knicks, but there's 7 Net fans. That's not boosting the ratings. Mickey writes in, choosing Glenn pisses me off already, but the GM decision pisses me off more. Picking our GM because he's Glenn's guy pisses me off the most. That's part of my frustration too. Why does Lance Newmark need to be Aaron Glenn's GM? Why? That annoys me too. Sean, I do not like Glenn hire. Rumor of Clint and Gary being on the staff is exciting, but I still doubt the hire. Regardless, I hope he kicks some ass. I hope so too. If Gary Kubiak has a real role on this staff, that would be exciting. But there's no evidence of that. More calls right now. Joe the Jet is next. Hello, Joe.
What's up, Jake? Honestly, the whole Glenn situation is very interesting, but it's my personal opinion is, I hear all these people defending Aaron Glenn about all these injuries his defense sort of suffered this past season, and that's the reason why you should get the head coaching job. I remember back in 2020, we were saying the same exact thing with Robert Saleh. There was a bunch of injuries on the 49ers defensive side. I remember Nick Bosa got hurt. Richard Sherman got hurt. A bunch of other 49ers players got hurt. And the Saleh's defense was still a top 10 unit. And people were like, oh, that's why he should be a head coach. This is the same story. So all the people who is making that case, I mean, that case is already, sort of invalid because Saleh did the same thing in 2020. That's probably one of the main things that got him hired back in 2021. So I just,
and much
I
like
don't know.
Glenn, he had been a head coaching candidate the previous 2 cycles. Definitely the previous cycle. Like Glenn's been interviewing for head coaching openings, I think, for 2 or 3 years already.
Yeah, I'm just very up and down about this. There's some parts of me that are like, that's excited. There's some parts of me that's very pessimistic. I think the only parts that I say he would have the advantage over Saleh would be he has experience here. But not as a coach, but as a player, and as a scout.
Here, yeah, that matters. That does, and there's a sense of pride he'll take with this job. I don't want to make it. I want to make it clear. Aaron Glenn is deserving of this job, and he's qualified. I just think it's a huge risk to hire a first-timer, given what this team has been through and where they're headed. Like that to me is the biggest thing. But I do, to your point, it is a good thing that he's played here. It is a good thing that he knows the owner. Because here's the other thing: Woody didn't hire Robert Saleh. Woody's making this hire. Glenn's going to get time. Like they're not going to pull the plug very quickly on Aaron Glenn. He's going to get 3 years at least.
And Jake, I heard from legends from my father, of course, that he was around during the Rich Kotite years and the Parcells years. So he's been there through the downs and the ups. So I think, that could be very, knowledgeable, type of, history there where he can explain, to these players like Garrett and, and Brees, and he would explain to them, hey, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. You feel down in the dirt. You feel like crap and everything like that. And, you probably think the world's against you, but let me tell you something. I won here too. I've lost here, but I also won here too as a player with Parcells. So I've seen it, what it's like with the New York media. When you win, you're on top of the world, but when you lose, you feel like you're in hell. So he's seen 2 sides of the coin.
Completely agree. And, he's seen it as a coach too, with what the Lions turnaround was, and a player. There's value in that.
Yeah, no, and I believe there's this video that came out from Buffalo Jet fan. He talked about Lance Newmark and how he was ahead of a Lions draft back in 2016, and he drafted a lot of decent lineman players. He drafted the lineman named Decker, who was, I believe, still the starting tackle for the Lions now. He also drafted Glasgow. What was his name? I remember he was a big free agent one of these years. Graham Glasgow, that was his name. He drafted him too. So hey, we'll see. I'm very lukewarm on these hires, but we'll see. We'll see in 2025. I hope they keep Rodgers. I really hope they try to win this year instead of just punting on the season and putting it in the bag and just say, hey, we'll just tank for 2026 and just try to get a quarterback and try to build then. I don't think that's an option. I think they need to start winning now. I really do.
I hope so, Joe. I hope so. Good call. Time to win games. None of this, oh, he needs plenty of time, Jake. We got to give him years. No, win games, man. Win games. Robert Saleh won 4 games his first year. This team won 5 this past year. Go 9-8 and make the playoffs next year, Aaron Glenn. Let's go. Let's go. I'm tired of losing. Enough. There's talent on this team. They led the NFL in blown fourth quarter leads. Win games. Jason writes in, watch your sub count. It's going at least 1. Don't want to hear your mouth when Aaron Glenn proves out. I will tell you what, Jason, please, I'm begging, man, don't unsubscribe from my channel. Oh my God. I only have 41,044 other people who are subscribed. Asshole.
Into the shadow realm you go.
That's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. This guy is a cancer that's metastasized throughout the entire building in Florham Park. And I don't know why Jets fans can't see it.
Or, here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up.
Oh my God. What are we going to do without him? I mean, like, I don't understand what you want. You want me to just tell you I think Aaron Glenn's going to be the greatest coach ever and lie to you? I'll give you the pros, I'll give you the cons. But if you're going to unsubscribe because of my opinion on your favorite football team, I can't help you. I don't want you to watch either. We'll be okay without you, Jason. Believe me. We'll be okay. God, man. It's amazing. It's like I should lie and say I love this hire. Great move. No, I have concerns. It could work. I'll be the first to tell you it could work. I just have a lot of questions. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls.
The biggest mistake they made is not firing this whole crew of shitheads before the season started. The coaches can't make decisions. They don't correct anything. I mean, this is a joke.
Hello, Peter.
Hey, Jake. How are you?
I'm all right. You know, I'd be doing better if we didn't hire 2 newbies to the job, but it is what it is.
I'm hearing the same thing you're hearing. Listen, I'm 100% behind Aaron Glenn. I hope he does great. I hope he's the coach of the year. You know, I would have preferred somebody with more experience, but it is what it is. Hopefully he hires the right guys around him.
That's key. I mean, that's everything. Like we'll all feel a lot better about this if we feel confident in his coaching staff.
Now, my son just texted me that they hired Spielman too. Is that true?
I haven't seen that. No.
He just texted me now that the Jets just hired Spielman.
I mean,
don't know if that's
I will let you know right now that just broke because I have not seen that. No, there's nothing. I hope Spielman is a part of this. I'd feel better about Newmark if Spielman's there too, but
yeah, they're supposed to. He's telling me both of them. Okay, but you know what? Hopefully, he hires the right people around him, and I wish that he would have called in some more people to interview him, especially McCarthy, as somebody with some experience. I'd feel better about it. But this is basically the same thing as what we had. You know, we had Saleh. This is another Saleh experiment. Hopefully
it's better this time. Yeah, hopefully this is, Mangini in 06, Rex the 2 years. I hope Aaron Glenn's awesome. Hopefully Aaron Glenn could have the 2-year run DeMeco Ryans has had so far as a former player coming back to his old team as a first-time coach. That's what we hope.
I also hope that Aaron Rodgers is going to be coming back now.
Me too.
And Devontae Adams. We can't afford to lose those 2.
No, I mean we're winning 4 games next year if it's Tyrod Taylor for 5 games before he gets hurt.
Exactly. So you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world. But I kind of feel like I wish they just would have called in a few more experienced coaches. I'd feel better about everything.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it, and it's typical Jets. I'm not surprised by it, but the Jets are the Jets. And take it easy, Jay. Don't get too shook up over there. People drive you nuts.
We have a lot of idiots out there. But ladies and gentlemen, I know what we need to do right now. We need to have what we like to call the OG session on the show.
There he is.
Hey, Neil.
I got to get the hell out of here. It's effing cold out, boy. Woo!
You in the garage?
No, I'm in my office. There's my.
It's been raining here for 3 days, so you didn't miss anything, and it doesn't
Yeah.
stop.
I'll take rain over 15 degrees. I'll tell you that much.
Today was one of the coldest days I've ever experienced. I know part of it's
That's
I'm
it.
soft now.
Let me
'cause
tell you.
I haven't had a winter in 6 years because I lived in Texas, but like this was brutal today. Oh my God.
This is the coldest day we have had here in at least 3 years. I mean, I know because when it gets into the teens, we haven't seen the teens last winter. I don't think we had the teens the winter before. This is the first year in the teens. Did you see New Orleans, the snow? It's like 3 inches of snow in New Orleans.
Houston too.
Yeah.
Crazy. And they have no snow plows and no salt. I mean, Jesus Christ. What the hell do you do there? I mean, you're putting your life in your hands getting on the roads over there.
So what do you think of hiring, Neil?
Well, I agree with you 1,000% about the experience, but here's the thing. You know, one thing we got to realize is Aaron Glenn was a player. That's the one ad he has above Salah and Gase and Rex. He actually played the game, so he will get a modicum of respect more than a non-player. I think that's going to help the situation. And
That's
in
a good
reality,
point.
Peter, who the hell knows, man? I mean, at this point, I feel like the guy from I feel like George Costanza. Let's just do the opposite. You know, we don't know what the hell's going to work. At the end of the day, who the hell knows? I mean, it's just a matter. You know, like I said, I think he's got the mannerisms are good. I think the fact he was a player is going to get him respected because I think these guys shut the coach off if he never played before. So the fact that he's got dirty, he knows how to motivate guys. He certainly might teach Sauce Gardner a thing or two, maybe turn him
Yeah.
around a little bit. We know
Yeah.
at least he knows how to play corner. So from that perspective, we might be good. And it's all about a matter of who we're going to hire as an OC and a DC. So let's get it on, you know, and see what the hell happens. I mean, I don't think these other guys wanted an interview with us. I don't think McCarthy wanted an interview with us, Jake. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't believe that. Like I've heard he's interested in the job. Like
it wouldn't make sense for us not to interview him, though. I
he
don't
has
buy
no
it.
leverage elsewhere. Like he either now the Bears job is closed. He either gets the Saints job or he's shut out and might never be a head coach again. So it's like he wouldn't take an interview with the Jets. Like I don't buy that. I don't.
You know what? I'm starting to think that Woody made up his mind on who it was going to be.
No, that's exactly Woody wants Glenn. Once they couldn't get Vrabel, Woody had it in his mind. Aaron Glenn's the guy. He knew him as a player for 2 years. He knew him as a scout. He thinks that the fan base will be all in on Glenn because he's a former Jet and there'll be buyback. Like they made up their mind. It was Aaron Glenn after they couldn't get Vrabel. I'm more convinced of that than ever before. And all these other interviews were just buying time until the Lions got eliminated. And now that they got eliminated way faster than anyone thought, okay, now let's get it done. I'm telling you, this was a sham search. It was either Vrabel or Glenn the whole time.
I think you're right. I think you're definitely right about that because there's no way McCarthy shouldn't have been called in for an interview. There's just no possible way. And I really hope my son just texted me that they hired Spielman. He's texting me again.
Ask him what outlet reported that because I checked for you and there's not a single thing about the Jets also hiring Spielman.
I don't know.
Is Glenn going to the Knick game or something? I heard. Is that happening or something? He's going to the Knick game. I mean, is he still in the building or did he take off?
He has left the building, but the two sides are continuing conversations, according to Ian Rappaport.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they hire Glenn, they better keep Aaron Rodgers and they better keep Devontae Adams. They had better, or they're going to be really in big trouble because this fan base is not going to stand for 3 or 4 straight losses right off the bat.
Oh, get ready. Repeat after me, Peter. With the 3rd pick in the 2026 NFL draft, the New York Jets select, because that's where this is headed if Rodgers is gone with a first-year coach.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, exactly. I didn't watch the Hard Knocks with Detroit. Did you watch it and see how Aaron Glenn is, how he works with the players and everything?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that?
Awesome. I'm not falling for it. Yeah, I'm not.
I get it. I get it.
Win
I
games.
get it.
Win
You
games.
remember Salah? He's screaming and yelling and jumping all over the place. I said, "Oh, this is just what we needed." Then when he got here, he was like a Minnie Mouse.
Right.
You know, the only time he got excited was when the defense made a stop. That's it. Other than that, he was just stood there like a statue.
I do think, for what it's worth, Glenn is going to be he's not going to be a pushover like Salah, I think, was, and Obrick, forget, he was a doormat. I think Glenn has the ability to, like, actually hold guys accountable and actually, you know, get into confrontation and call people out. Like, we even saw that. There was one of the games on Monday night. He was screaming at one of his guys on the sideline, and that was like a big deal. You never saw Salah do that. So I do think that Glenn has, like, the leadership skills to do it. It's just a different role now as a head coach. So hopefully it translates. We don't know until he does it.
Did Salah get the job in Jacksonville?
No, he's interviewing a second time, though.
I can't believe that. Then I'd pulling in Flores.
The Jets or Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
I think they're going to end up, if not Salah, Liam Cohen, the Bucs offensive coordinator, is the hot name there.
Yep.
How about Dallas with Schottenheimer? What the hell is that all about?
Yeah, Shotty getting a chance to be the Cowboys coach, maybe.
Oh my God!
That's a big mistake.
Okay, so if that happens, though, if that happens, I bet you Rex Ryan's their defensive coordinator. How about that? Shotty head coach, Rex the DC in Dallas. I could definitely see that.
Oh my God! Well, there's definitely a shortage of top flight coaches. That's for sure. You know, I guess we got.
Everybody's going, Peter, with the new way. The league wants.
Well, you know what,
new guys.
Neil? I would have been happy if the Jets hired Brady and they brought somebody else, you know, like a good defensive coordinator like Wink Martindale or one of those guys.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
I would have been
all right
happier with that because at least now we have the offensive coordinator that's not going anywhere and a defensive coordinator easy to get. I would have liked that.
Not to mention, we were taking him away from Buffalo because
Exactly.
before him, Josh Allen was a turnover machine. And this guy, I mean, his play calling against the Ravens was spectacular. He had Baltimore on their heels the entire game. He ran the ball when they were looking for pass. He passed the ball when they were looking for run. I mean, he kept them off balance the entire game. And the fact that Josh Allen, I mean, I don't even think he threw. How many interceptions did he throw? He threw less than 10 this year, right, Jake? I mean, last year he threw like 18 or something. I mean, he's a turnover machine before this.
He almost had identical stats as Aaron Rodgers, except we don't have the rushing. But he had rushed for a lot of time. But he had the same amount of TDs and interceptions. Was almost exactly the same.
Now I was wondering, is the Ty Johnson on Buffalo the same guy we had? Because he doesn't look the same. I know he is, but he
looks
doesn't
better
look the same. He looks great all of a sudden, son of a bitch.
I think that was the one thing I was hoping that they would bring Brady in, and if they weren't going to get a defensive head coach, I would have preferred Brady and a defensive coordinator and take it from there. I think we would have been a lot further ahead of the game than we're going to be.
I wouldn't mind it. That's why, I know you guys didn't want McCown, but the idea of McCown a year early makes sense if he had Doug Peterson as his OC and then hired a good DC. You know, like you could sell me on that if that was the case. With Glenn, we don't know. I don't know what his offensive acumen is. He says he's going to coach the whole team. He says he knows offense. Okay, Salah said that too. I hope he's right.
Well, didn't Salah take over the offense this year?
Yeah, remember Salah was more involved with the offense this year. Remember that one? And then remember the Packers hired him as an offensive consultant?
Yeah, what a joke.
Incredible.
Well, guys, I just, like I said, we gotta take what we get, and anything's better than what we had, Peter. I mean, we all agree on that. We had the garbage of garbage. So
yeah, but you know what?
Step up.
I just wish they would have went and tried a different direction. You know, if you're going to go different, go with somebody like Brady. Wait a couple more weeks if they get eliminated. Hire the guy hire the guy and try something. At least you got the offensive coordinator, and he's not going nowhere if you hire him as a head coach. And then you bring in there's a million defensive coordinators.
That's an
I
easy. The D
what's that?
coordinator is the easiest. The D coordinator is
Yeah.
much easier to find. There's so many guys out there.
And
I
Brady's
agree with
already
that.
Brady already proved he's a good offensive coordinator. He is good.
How many ounces is that 7-Eleven coffee?
It's an extra large. It's like 30 ounces.
Very nice.
I just got off the table not too long ago. We went out to dinner, and
Yeah, I just drove around Florida because I was supposed to go out to dinner too, but they sent me to a restaurant. There's like 3 of them, and this one was all the way up in the west of Boynton Beach. So I drove around like a jerk for an extra hour, and then I said, "Screw it, I'm going home."
I feel like a fun show would be just Peter Castro just complaining about daily life occurrences.
Oh, it would be hysterical. You would love it. You would
The real life.
with the lard ass beef brain.
The Beast?
Is he in the hole?
Oh, he's on standby. He was on earlier.
Oh, he's on standby.
Be careful, Castro. He's coming after you.
Oh, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm shaking in my
God,
boots.
he's a scary one.
Gentlemen, excellent call.
Guys, take
I
care.
think the second one. Excuse me.
Thank you very much to Neil and the great Peter Castro. Ryan says, salute to the OGs. That's right. Respect the OGs. Castro, Neil, love them. Tyler with a super chat. Watched an interview of Glenn from the offseason. Sounds like a leader of men. Worked his way through scouting, QC, DBs, DC, knows it. Aaron Glenn, leadership-wise, off the charts. You just never know how it's going to translate. And that's my big thing. I wanted someone with experience. I'm going to root like hell for Aaron Glenn, though. Sean says, Jake will never forget this if Glenn is successful. Sean, I would love nothing more than for you to rub it in my face that I wasn't sold on Aaron Glenn right away like you were. Please. I want to be wrong. I want Aaron Glenn to be awesome. I want him to win Coach of the Year every year. Please rub it in my face. Do you think this is like some sort of threat? Like, oh no, now I'm rooting to be right. I want the Jets to suck. You really got me, Sean. Please rub it in that I wasn't sold on hiring another first-time defensive-minded coach. It's only been 14 years and counting without the playoffs, so my skepticism is completely out of line. Why would I question the Jets making a big decision and have any reservation? Please. I would love for you to remind me that I wasn't sold on Aaron Glenn. South Philly, Castro a number 1 seed. Do we think Castro's a 1 seed now? Wow. I'll tell you what, Peter Castro is making a run in March. And by the way, Sean, if Aaron Glenn ends up sucking, I'm not going to remind you of it because I'm a Jet fan and I won't take pride in that because I'll be pissed off. I like this take here from Weege. Reverse psychology. We have championed a lot of moves and nothing's worked. Let's hope not. All being in on this one means it's the right decision. Deep down, I hope that's the case. Because we were all in on Saleh. We loved the Douglas hire. Hopefully, it was a no-brainer. Get Rodgers. Like everything we wanted, it hasn't worked. Now the Rodgers thing, it's complicated because he got hurt and everything else. But yeah, hopefully this ends up being one of the great hires ever. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is Chiefs fan
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Jesus Christ, Jake. I think today's been the most toxic show for interaction. Not you, but people interacting with you.
You know what? It comes with the territory, Cheats
I
fan.
mean, yeah, I could tell the Texan in you. Holy shit, those years build you up. You don't take shit from Texas.
Honestly, Texans are more chill than New Yorkers. People are
Really
way nicer
now.
down there.
Really now.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
guess this is Southern hospitality.
Yep.
I was looking at Aaron Glenn and someone named it before I did, but like you guys have won the division since 2002 as a 9-7 team. Now I understand why you're riled up. I'm like, I was double checking all your things, and I would love to see Aaron Glenn do good for you. I would love to see you keep Rodgers and Adams like the OGs were saying. I really respected what the OGs were saying, because if it's one thing you can learn from, is to learn from the older generation of sports fans. They lived through some of the best fucking memories. Sorry for the language, but they lived through some of the best memories, and that's what I'm happy for them. If they're still around, if the Jets win the Super Bowl, if they're still around, I'll be happy for Neil and Peter. And Blind Forest, I was talking to someone earlier today, and I don't know if it was asinine, but maybe he said the Jets don't want Blind Forest because they're afraid of being sued. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good take.
Yeah, I don't think that's it at all. I think they just like Aaron Glenn more, which is fine.
Yeah.
You better be right. Better be right. Now, Cheats fan, how does it feel knowing the entire Jet Nation is behind you on Sunday?
Minus Allen, but and a few people. I'm very happy you guys are behind us. I
got rid of Allen before this show even started. One of the best decisions. Imagine Allen chiming away with his nonsense during this show. Oh, great executive producer decision by me.
Jake, you are going to need a greasy burger after this show. Just clog your arteries and feel good after this show.
Where should I order it from, Cheats fan? I'm going to Grubhub it right now. Call your shot.
The best burger place. Just look up the best burger places and get yourself a bacon burger or something, man. Because if it's one thing I know, I used to be 350 pounds. A burger will cheer you up.
Hell yeah.
I had leftover breakfast tacos. I made 3 pounds of sausage and bacon mixed together. And then I had I leftover breakfast tacos back-to-back nights for dinner. Notre Dame let me down, but Ohio State was the better team. Don't know. Sorry for the language. Don't know shit about the GM that you guys want to bring in. But I hope that works out. But I looked at Aaron Glenn. His coaching started with the Houston Stallions in 2012 or 2011. If you looked into that.
Yeah, he bounced around a little bit before he got into coaching. He did that, and then he was a scout with the Jets, and then he started his coaching career.
New York Badass said go to the Cheesecake Factory, Jake.
I should go where?
To the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, Red Robin and Five Guys. Yeah, those are good burgers. Badass.
Red Robin? I haven't had Red Robin in a very long time, but I do respect Red Robin.
Same here. Last time I had Red Robin, I was traveling. It's literally right next to the downtown mall that we used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! We would go and have Red Robin when they had that deals on Thursdays. And then
let me ask you something. You mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you believe in the heart of the cards?
I play a different game. Yeah, I do. There's been times when I'm like swinging in for extra damage and magic where I draw the right 2 cards.
I was a big Dark Magician guy back in the day.
First I was a Blue Eyes guy, and then I seen Joey Wheeler with his red eyes, and I'm like, oh god, Time Wizard, Thousand Dragon, Baby Dragon. I've been a Joey Wheeler fan ever since. Favorite villain is Merrick. Favorite protagonist is You Say. I don't know if you watch 5Ds. That was during the 2000s.
Hold on a second. Doug writes in WTF Nerd Central. I'll tell you what, Doug. All right. You let me and Cheats fan nerd out, and if you don't like it, you're gone.
They thought by bringing Aaron Rodgers in, that would make things better. it has made things worse.
Doug, this is for you. Let
Yeah.
people nerd out and enjoy life. Like, come
Yeah.
on now.
And guess what? We're talking Dragon Ball Z next, Doug. Deal with it.
Oh God. So I got introduced into Dragon Ball by one of the most inappropriate scenes, where Goku was patting on Bulma's private area. Your balls are gone, and she freaks out thinking the Dragon Balls were gone. That's how my friend introduced me to Dragon Balls. Like back when they were doing humor like that they couldn't do now. Because Goku thought everyone had a pair of balls because he grew up with only a male. Yeah, that scene. And ever since then, I'm like, okay, I like this type of humor.
I see.
One of my favorite non-logical scenes from the Dragon Ball show is there's a evil rabbit guy. So he forces the evil rabbit guy and his henchmen to make marshmallows on the moon. That's one of my favorite episodes. And that's because I was big into Easter back then when I was younger. But now you're older.
My brother wants to know what your take is on fusion.
Fusion summoning, or fusion as in fusing together with Goku and Vegeta?
Yeah. Are you a Gogeta guy or a Vegito guy?
I'm more of the one where Vegito takes over, basically. Because I've always been a Vegeta fan. Like when when Goku had that heart virus. It's been out for years. I'm sorry, people. He goes in there, kicks Goku, and then starts beating the shit out of Android 19.
D-Rob says, actually, no, I thought this was for you. This was for Gorman. Charles Gorman's on the line. I can't ask him who his favorite superhero is.
Actually, I had 3 favorite superheroes growing up. Green Arrow as a kid, Spider-Man in my 20s. But, like, I finally understand why Batman is this pure badass. But if I were to go with if I were to go with my favorite hero right now in Marvel, it's the next Captain America. I hope he plays that. I hope that movie's really good. I can't wait for that movie.
Purple Belt Mike writes in, Cheats fan, future Trunks, best DBZ character. If you don't agree, I don't know if we'll ever be friends.
Actually, I agree, because even in Super, he was kicking ass. If y'all watch Dragon Ball Super, he came back and bodied Frieza in under 5 minutes. Turned him into mincemeat too, with a sword. One of the most badass scenes before the Android saga.
No doubt. Cheats fan, excellent call out of you. All right, we'll talk more about how the Jet Nation is behind your team on Sunday later this week.
I hope you guys are. I don't want us to let you down, but if we do let you down, we're gonna have to bleed green with another team with Philly, or become communists with the Commanders for one day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cheats fan.
It's Cheats fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Cheats fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Cheats fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Cheats fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Excellent call by Cheats fan. Hit the like button if you're still watching. There's 600 in here right now. We're seeking more memberships. Last chance to get in. If they do hire Glenn officially tonight, I'll probably go live again, because that's what we do. Membership will get you a chance at winning a G. Wilson signed jersey, an Aaron Glenn signed trading card, or a Breece Hall signed trading card. Those are the top 3 prizes. I will add more, though, if we get more memberships here. Appreciate the support from the Asmaniacs. We've added a bunch during this stream. Thanks to everyone for rocking with us. Ladies and 20 from Jeffrey R. Holy crap. Wow. Just like that. We have 20 more raffle entries from Jeffrey. Oh, baby.
Free stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey R.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
You guys ready? You ready? It's raining. Grab the Gustbuster. Promo code Jake at gustbuster.com. Here we go. 20 memberships from Jeffrey R. Cisco Lopez. Swapnil G. Patel. Carl Dubois. Low Temp Fade, Z Breed, Scott G999, Nate Bonifant, Quick Dolo, Kevin James. Shout out to the King of Queens, big Jet fan. Dan Hills, Wesley Gates, Terrell's a Jet fan, Brad McCaffrey, Stacks, Gift, Tyrant. I miss old Howard Stern. Me too. Benny from the Bronx, Donna, SD Jet fan, Tony S. All receiving channel memberships. Jeffrey, you just paid for tonight's burger with that one. Inspired by Chiefs fan. Appreciate it. 20 more entries for Jeffrey. That's awesome. All right. Let's get to these last few calls, and then we will wrap up our show. Joining us right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is
women.
What's up, Rob?
Jake, I feel bad for you, buddy. I feel bad for you.
Don't feel bad for me, man. It's just
I do. I do, and let me explain. I'll do and let me explain, buddy. These people have a lot of gall. They have a lot of nerve. All these people, with all due respect, Big Fella, Ricky NY, Nick Shine, all these people think that you're supposed to be like this. This is great day for the Jets.
I don't know if they think that. They're not the ones that are upset that I'm not more positive about this. It's not them.
They're thinking why you're not so positive. Oh, Jake, let's open the Hennessy already and toast the inauguration. Come on. And then Nick Shine is like, Jake, I get the feeling you're not happy about this. I mean, duh. No, you're not. You're not happy with the way the Jets did their due diligence because they didn't. They didn't go there. They didn't interview Carroll. They didn't interview Gruden. They didn't interview McCarthy. They didn't give Brian Flores a second interview, which would have been a great idea. And everyone's okay. Oh, do you think Justin Fields is good too? And we'll get rid of Aaron Rodgers? What do these people really, really expect next year, Jake?
5 wins. Get ready. It's going to be another shit. If you tell if you tell me Aaron Rodgers is not the quarterback, which means Devontae is not here, and we have a first-year coach, this team is winning 5 games again next year. That's how I feel right now. I hope I'm wrong, but that is my feeling right now. And I pray to God that they win 10 and make the playoffs.
Me too. Me too. I'm not hoping for them to lose, and far from it, because you know the way we are, passionate that we are. Jake, if this happens, now they also have a first-time GM, which I don't understand. All right, this guy has a lot of experience, but not as a GM. Aaron Glenn is comfortable with this guy, and that's the reason why they're hiring this guy. So now you have like 2 first years in their position. Why would you do that? And then you're going to say goodbye to Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to get Justin Fields or whoever it is. I don't want to just sit here and pick on Justin Fields. And what do the people honestly expect? You're looking at 2, 3, maybe 4 wins. And then, but it's okay. We'll go for the number 1 quarterback the following year and hope that we get him. And if we don't, then what? I mean, people are accepting on the fact that they might suck the next 2 or 3 years. And you know what? I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that.
I hope not. They should try and win next year because there's talent on this team. And you can't tell me that Rodgers, the way he played at the end of the year, is not their best option with better coaching. Like, that's what I would try and do. And then get the quarterback this year that sits, or in 2026, try and win games.
Yes. Look at that chart you put up there, Jake. Look at that chart of touchdowns. The past.
I don't think people realize how bad it was before Rodgers played this year.
Look at this. Look at this. Numbers don't lie. Yes, there's context to everything. And I know Aaron had his bad games, no doubt about it. But you know what? There's context to everything, because all those times when he put us in position to win and we blew it because our defense couldn't stop a nosebleed or a kicker couldn't hit the side of a barn, it had a lot to do with it also. And that's why, and not saying Saleh is this great coach, but if Saleh stays at 2-3, at least he had the defense semi under control, other than maybe 1 game in the beginning of the year against 49ers, granted. But you know what? Our defense totally went in the shitter soon as they got rid of Salah. And this is not a Salah call to promote him. I'm just saying that they're doing things wrong, Jake, and they're okay with a head coach first year, a GM first year. Get rid of Aaron and let's go. And then hopefully, you know what? 2, 3, 4 wins. We'll draft our quarterback for the future and let's burn another year. I mean, I don't know about you, Jake, but I don't want to sit here the next 2 or 3 years and suck. I don't. I want to at least try to make a playoffs. People are like, oh, no, you got to go for a Super Bowl. We're not heading in the Super Bowl in this direction. I don't see it. First time on all these guys. Now they're going to have to hire, Jake, a really, really good OC, really, really good DC, because let's be honest, Aaron Glenn was not a great DC. He wasn't even top 10 for the past few years. He wasn't. He was pretty good, but you know what? Call it what it is. So you know what? Now I got to sit here and watch this for the next couple of years, and people are okay with it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really not okay with it. Man, I can see why you're a little perturbed about it. I mean, you're willing to give him a chance, and that's fine. That's good. You're being fair about it. But you know what? People expect you to have like this big smile on your face, and I don't blame you a bit. I would have my reservations big time on this.
Yeah, I mean, I would look like the biggest hypocrite in the world if I came on today being like, this is awesome. Like, no, I've been talking since the day they fired Salah. I talked about how this is not a job for first-timers. And they're going to hire a first-time GM who no one's ever heard of and a first-time head coach. I have concerns. I hope it works.
Jake,
we don't want to pretend like I'm confident.
Jake, we don't want first-timers. Let's be honest right now. Anyone with half a brain can see that we don't need a first-timer. True, it's not saying that these other guys can not succeed, but they have a better chance of succeeding. You get a guy like McCarthy and you bring him in there. He averages 12 wins a year, and you bring back Aaron Rodgers one more year. I'm telling you, buddy, I think they would win 9 or 10 games. Fix a couple of things defensively, which Douglas screwed up this year. And you know what? The Jets have a chance to win 9, 10. And then you know what? We make the playoffs. We exhale. We breathe and we say, finally, we got off the schneid. 15 years. We made the playoffs. And then you know what? If Aaron leaves, he leaves. And then we build for the future. We want at least 1 year reprieve, Jake. A 1 year reprieve. I don't want to suck for the next 2 or 3 years. Everyone's okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I'm not, Jake.
Rob, I'm with you, man. Win games. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Alan's wife.
More calls before we wrap. NYC to SRQ is next. What's up, NY?
Hey, how you doing, Jake?
How are
I'm
you,
gonna make
man?
this. I'm doing good, doing good. Not enjoying this cold weather down here in Florida. That's why I got my jacket on.
What's cold weather in Florida?
50 degrees is cold weather in Florida.
Man, 50 degrees. I'd kill for that right now. Let's see. Where I am, it feels like 11 degrees outside.
I know. My sister lives in Bethpage and they got snow, so I totally get it. Yeah, I just literally turned on my heat for the first time in 3 years.
It's crazy, man.
I know. Anyways, I'm gonna make this nice and short and sweet. I know I sent a chat earlier, but I'm okay with the Aaron Glenn hire. I'm not thrilled about it. I'm with you. I wanted Flores from the very beginning. Even after they fired Salah, Flores was my number one because he does have New York ties. He's from Brooklyn. I get Aaron Glenn. He'll be coming home, kind of like Carmelo Anthony. Hopefully, he does a lot better than what Carmelo Anthony did with the Knicks. But ultimately, what it boils down to is them drafting and developing a quarterback. Once they draft and develop a quarterback and they have a franchise quarterback, I honestly think the OC is irrelevant because if they have a QB that knows what they're doing, AKA like Mahomes, AKA like Allen, AKA like what's his name over in LA? What's that guy over in LA? Not the Chargers. Herbert. Exactly. Once you have that franchise quarterback, you know, you can have multiple OCs, right? Because it shouldn't matter who the OC is as long as you have a competent quarterback who knows how to play the game and making sure that they do the right reads and make the passes correctly. That's just my take in regards to Aaron getting hired. As long as they can develop and draft the right QB, I think that's all that matters. And I'm going to go back to what you said a couple of months ago. If you get the coach right and you get the QB right, everything else falls in place. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Have a great night, Jake. Thanks for taking my call.
NYC, I appreciate it, man. Look, hopefully Aaron Glenn hires a great staff because that's going to define if it's going to work or not. It's funny. Jay and I cannot be more on the opposite end of the Aaron Rodgers spectrum, the Aaron Rodgers debate. But we both agree that they should have hired someone with experience at coach. Honestly, I'd be more open to Glenn if they hired a GM who I've heard of, who had previous GMing experience. I'd just throw the two first-timers out there. By the way, the last time this team was any good, Tannenbaum at least had previous GMing experience when he hired Rex and hired Mangini. He had been with the team. So it's not even just the first-time coach thing. It's like, here we go, playoff trots at 14, and let's throw two newbies out there and hope it works. All right, I hope it works. Big Fellow writes in, can you ask Butterball why he blocked me? Big Fellow, you're blocked by Beastbreaker? Is this true? Before we wrap, let's check in with the Beast and find out.
Holy crap, here comes Beastbreaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I may be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
Beastbreaker always has some salient points.
Hey, Beast.
Got a little pounding headache. What tonight? We had some dummies in my life, but wow. Wow. Where the hell did these morons come from? Boy, I tell you, if NASA would take $5 billion and build a planet for these Goombas, we would not have all the idiots that we've had tonight. And you brought up my favorite bottle, good old-fashioned Hennessy. I used to love that drink in high school. Anytime I was pissed off, I would get a thing of iced tea and some Hennessy, and that shit will put me in drive, baby. We got an asshole alert!
Beast,
Asshole alert!
you had a good run.
Now
look what you've done.
Beastbreaker
666. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut your call off and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. Do you understand me? You catch my drift?
Are you seriously on crack? I think
give them another 24 hours to think about it.
How about you bending over and taking up the booty hole behind the 7-Eleven?
Jeffrey had no interest in hearing the rest of that story. He has gifted 20 more memberships.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Oh, yeah, baby. Here we go. It's raining. Channel memberships. Jeffrey R. 20 raffle entries. Dano. Matthew C. Orlando Vega. Billy McCain. Sal Pizzuto, PG, AJ, Lucas Ford, Brandon Hare, Sweet Baby Jesus, Rich, Ruben Rivera, SDA Jets, Jason C, Falcon West, Truth Be Told, Eric Rivera, Ocho Nueve. Might have missed some names there. I don't know. I think that was 20. According to YouTube, it was. The math's not mathing. But apparently that was 20. Congratulations to everyone who just got a membership. Thank you again to Jeffrey. I think that's 60 he's gifted in this show. Jeffrey's gunning for one of these prizes. Garrett Wilson jersey, autographed Aaron Glenn card, autographed Breece Hall jersey patch card. The Wilson jersey is obviously autographed. Unreal. All right. We might have saved the best for last. As all signs point to Aaron Glenn being the Jet coach, for the first time, we need to get the opinion on this decision by the NYJ from the Lane Train.
Hi, how are you? Bro.
Paul. That's good.
Hello, Jake.
Hey, Lane, how are you?
I'm good. So you were asking me how I feel about Aaron Glenn being hired. I think he's going to do good.
You do think he's going to do
He's
good? That makes me feel better about it.
As much as I think that Flores should have been hired, that guy Flores, I think that you bring in Aaron Glenn, he's going to do good. Now, the second thing is you have to see who else they could draft in the 7th round.
So you're concerned about the 7th round as opposed to the 1st round?
Well, I mean, if you get somebody in the 1st round, I don't know who that's going to be.
I would say I don't know who they're going to pick in the 7th round either.
I mean, there's a lot of people out of college.
That's true. That is true. That's a good point.
So anyway, did you watch any of the games last week on Saturday and Sunday? Because I watched it.
Which game was your favorite?
The Ravens.
Yeah, that was a good game on Sunday.
I'm surprised that the Eagles did not win.
You're surprised that the Eagles did not win?
No.
Well, what if I told you they did win?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want them to win. I wanted the other team to win.
I wanted the Rams to win as well.
But you know what though? How do I feel about this round coming up on Sunday?
Who
I
do you
don't
got?
know. Well, I don't know who's playing. You would have to tell me. Let me look it up.
You have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the
Yeah.
Washington Commanders. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, I want the Bills to win, and I want.
Oh, you want the Chiefs to win.
They always win.
Yeah, but I don't want the Bills to win. They don't deserve happiness before Jet fans.
Fine. I'll see the Chiefs. You know what's gonna happen then? The Chiefs are gonna win it all again. That's what's
Probably.
gonna happen.
I
They
hope
could
so.
never not lose a game.
I'd rather them win it all than the Bills, but I'm rooting for whoever comes out of the NFC.
Yeah. I'm freezing myself off here. It is so cold.
Did you
I didn't
bundle up
know it
today,
was
Lane?
supposed to be cold. Yeah, I wore a turtleneck and a sweater and a jacket. Also, it was cold out. So cold, I couldn't feel anything. Like my
Did you
feet
wear
was
your
like.
Asmaniac winter hat?
I haven't worn it yet.
It will keep you warm.
But it snowed a lot, though. I gotta tell you.
Did you do any
Couldn't
snow
even do
angels?
anything. No, I actually did some stuff at work. I put some salt on the ground and I shoveled. Also,
Where do you work?
work at Trader Joe's.
Very nice. I love Trader Joe's. I'm gonna have to pay you a visit.
I work at the one in Oceanside, in New York, actually.
No, I know that location well.
Yeah. Oh, I hope Bobby got the Burger King job.
I believe his interview is later this week.
Why hasn't he had his? He had only I believe either 2 so's or 1 so. He hasn't had that much. I don't know what's going on.
Nah, he's a busy guy. I think his daughter was sick for a couple days, so I think that's why.
Peacebreaker was so funny. They had to beep him out.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Beastbreaker? I think he's
gross.
You think he's gross?
Looks like a Mr. Potato Head.
You think he looks like Mr. Potato Head?
Yeah.
That's an interesting comp.
Yeah, I was doing imitations of everybody last Sunday.
Do you have a Beastbreaker imitation?
Yeah. Listen, I do not want to do this right now, but please cut that off. Wrestling. You're talking about wrestling? Are you kidding? You're supposed to be talking about the playoffs with all those wrestlings. It's not good. Okay. Now I'll do an imitation of Jake Asman. Good evening. This is Jake Asman. I have 2 shows on Monday with I'll make up a name. The guy from the fan with the mustache. His name is
Joe
Beningo. And then I have another show with Steve Summers later on. So yeah, and hopefully it is going to go well next Monday. Then we'll take some callers. Yeah.
Bravo. That sounds just like me. You nailed it.
I'm missing the microphone though.
We'll get you a mic. You'll really nail the impression with the mic.
I'll do the I should do like the V-Man thing. It's so funny. Why he lays down always.
He's always sleeping.
Why? It's weird.
He's tired.
On the other hand, I just hope that the Jets go all the way this year.
Me too, Lane. I hope we win more than 8 games for the first time
Yeah, that
in a
was terrible.
decade.
So why do you think the Jets couldn't go all the way? Is it because they stunk this year?
That is exactly why they
Same
stunk.
as the Giants. But it should be a good game on Sunday. I have to say.
I hope so, Lane. I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for taking my call.
Lane, anytime. Call back soon, okay?
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Hi. Sorry, everybody. See you next call when we talk about sports again.
What a call from the Lane train. I'm going to end this show and watch what will happen. The Jets will officially have Glenn and Newmark sign within 5 minutes. Watch. And then I'll be live again. But I got to eat something. All right. 3 hours. 2 hours earlier. Grind, don't stop. Best fans in sports. Thanks to the best listeners. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We hit 41K the other day, and we're not stopping there. We're at 41,042. Keep it going. Hit the like button. Spread the word to Jet fans every day on this channel. You're getting content. Join the Patreon if you haven't. That's the best way to support me. Get in our Discord, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. If you want to interact with a V-Man, with a Cheats fan, with a Bobby Midnight, with a Gorman, a David T, they're all in the Discord. Anyway. Thank you all. I'm seeing an enormous amount of people saying they want Beast Breaker. Funny how this works. I put him on. How could you? I don't put him on. Well, he's not currently on. And he's in the hole right now, so we can't go to Beast. Jeffrey R. paid good money to send him there, and we honor bounties on this show. Anyway, sincerely appreciate everyone. Go Aaron Glenn if he's the guy. I hope it works. I pray it works. I'm just not going to sit here and say I'm thrilled. See what happens. We might be back tonight. If not, we're certainly going to be back tomorrow because I think this deal is either getting done tonight or in the morning tomorrow. Either way, thank you again for watching. Like the video on your way out of here. Jets. Jets.
Jets, Jets, Jets. You're a degenerate gambler, and you're in your mid-50s. Who bets on the Jets? Have you not learned anything about betting? The Jets are going to come back. No, they're not. They're never going to come back. They're never going to come back.
Hey, Bills Mafia! You're in the wrong stadium, you friggin' a-hole!
You guys football fans? I think the Pats could take the conference this year. I mean, the Dolphins are overrated and the Jets are choke artists.
I wouldn't say that, Mr. Deeds.
Why is that, though?
You own the Jets, Deeds.
I do? Whoa. That sucks.
You think that scares me? I'm not scared of you, you pansy!
Yeah, I put my own fist through your face, you friggin' a-hole!
Hey, keep moving, you hump!
Who do you want to win?
The goddamn Jets.
Jets!